the best decision is the decision that you make that time with the available things that you know, and make the best of the worst that you have. That's the best decision, right? There's no such thing as a best decision. Only you define it. And don't look back and say, shit, I should have done that. What do you mean you should not have done that? Given back the same factors, you still make the same decision.
Hi there, welcome to another episode of Chinatown 2.0, a show about Chinese immigrants thriving. I'm your host, Richard Yan. Today's show is a bit special. I was not the interviewer. My friend Mike Yan spoke to our friend Chris Tay, a successful serial entrepreneur who made his riches in restaurant, supply chain solutions, and consumer packaged goods businesses in Asia, mostly mainland China. The conversation took place in Shanghai, which is where both Mike and Chris are based, and the conversation was audio only. So, a bit about our guest Chris. Chris Tay has been hustling hard since 1994, so he has an extremely long resume. He started at least 4 businesses and led sales effort at Pan-Asian conglomerates such as Kang Shi Fu and Yili. Soon after graduating University of Texas in 1992, he started Singapore's first handmade burger restaurant chain, modeled after Jonny Rockets in the US. He sold that business a few years later for a few $1 million. Then he caught the internet wave in the 90s and started an online company to help Japanese hot bath businesses buy supplies. He later sold that business for a few $1 million as well. Later, he headed up sales for various consumer packaged goods conglomerates such as Kang Shi Fu and Yili, as mentioned earlier. He is currently working on his new consumer packaged goods startup. Chris is originally from Malaysia. Despite being ethnically Chinese, he did not know the language before entering the China startup scene. But through dedication and rigorous training, he now speaks like a local. Besides being wildly successful, Chris is humble, generous, and full of wisdom, as you will hear from this episode. Here's a sample of what Chris talked about. The idea of the more people you know, the luckier you get. He discusses why he wants to treat all his business acquaintances with humility and how he constantly thinks about how to add value for them. Family teachings about delayed marriage and never working for anyone else. What it's like to build a B2B internet startup in late 90s, how he had to pivot after realizing no product market fit, how he adapted to the local business culture in order to win businesses from the Japanese, why family businesses don't last for generations, leadership styles in China versus US's hero culture, preference towards having women run companies, why the CEO is a superb HR. Lastly, a bit about the interviewer and my friend Mike Yan. He is in the venture capital business in China and is stationed in Shanghai. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode. As usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification. Thank you.
You said something really interesting on the way here. I will quote, you said this 10 minutes ago. And this is about luck. You said the more people you meet, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate on that?
The more people you meet, the more you are less selfish, not 100% totally not selfish, that's impossible.
Okay.
And you help people along the way, and then they help you. You create a certain bank of resources.
Data bank of
Favors,
okay,
goodwill, right? Reputation, good or bad reputation.
Yeah, so what's the most important thing? So you say, okay, I recently talked to a guy who was like, hey, I recently started building this matrix of people I know. The one axis is talent, right? They're technically good, they know AI, they're a lawyer, and then, so I guess my question is, how do you do your matrix? How do you think of?
I look at it as like every person, even the nice lady that surfaced just now,
yeah,
she could be a billionaire one day.
Okay.
So you don't belittle anybody.
Yeah.
And don't be in awe of successful rich people because they can also fail. Right?
But you don't have enough, or you only have certain number of hours per day, and how do you think about how much time you spend with certain people?
So you cannot keep up with everybody that you meet, but always give a good first impression to anybody you meet first.
Okay. Right? Because you never know.
You never know. You never know. You don't have to pretend and behave who you are not by trying to suck up, to kiss ass, that kind of thing. You don't have to do that if you're sincere, right?
Okay.
But you must learn the language of be nice, mannerism, be polite, be at the same. You can be polite and be firm at the same time. You can show anger and polite at the same time, right? So you always leave a bridge for everybody.
So back to the storyline then. I'm trying to ask, these people you've met, did they eventually, you started working together, or like how did this all link up for you? This idea of the more people you meet, you become luckier.
Yeah.
How did it impact your business? And
it does. Because you never, like I said again, life is full of uncertainty, right?
Right.
Because you do not know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next 1 year. So maybe this particular person may have something that you need that they can help you. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Right? So I've been through so many recessions in Asia, right? But I've always survived it. And
what's the most memorable one? Which one was most painful?
I think 1997, right? 1997.
The Asia.
Yeah, the crisis.
Yeah.
It was very hard for everybody.
Right.
Borrow money, lend money, kind of thing. But because people, they tie you over. They say, okay, I owe you this money. But because you know me from the last 4 to 5 years, I never cheated you. I always pay you on time.
Yeah.
They tie you up for the next 2 years. They lengthen the credit.
I see.
The kind of thing. So it's trust. So that's the more people you meet, the more people that I'm not talking about meeting people in a discotheque and go dance and really quality meeting.
Right.
And then when you meet, then you say, okay, I'll take note. This guy has this, but no, nothing's free in this world. So what can you give to the guy first? Always think what you can give to the other guy or the other lady before you think of what people can give to you.
Okay. During that time, this is an interesting time, by the way. This is one of the earlier funding stories you had. You founded this company called Billy Bombers.
Okay.
So this is unfamiliar to most Chinese kids.
You gotta understand.
What is it?
You gotta understand when back in the late 80s and early 90s, like 1991, right?
Yeah.
From where I came from.
Yeah.
Literally, there's really not many VCs or to speak of.
Even in Singapore.
1991. So those days, the internet was with roads and railroads.
Okay, so in the 1995 period,
most people were in traditional business, trading. VCs invested in restaurants, hotels, things like that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Billy Bombers was I wanted to do a restaurant business because that was the Hongli of the market at the time.
Why do you say that?
No, why I say that the market was like that.
Yeah, but why do you think so? Like you observed something?
Yeah, I observed something. Yeah. The wind was blowing that way, and it so happened that I like to do something in hospitality.
Okay.
So the opportunity opened up.
Is it because you see some new American business coming in?
Yeah. Of course. McDonald's, Burger King, and things like that. Okay. So I didn't have the money to buy but that big of a franchise. My dad didn't want to give me a single cent, which is the right thing to do. Yeah. Right?
But did you try to ask?
Of course. I was very thick skin. I asked everybody. Yeah. He said,
what did he say?
He said, go talk to our family doctor.
What family doctor?
Because he has money. So he gave me 50,000 Sing dollars, which was a lot of money for me at the time. 50,000. Okay, it's a lot of money. Start borrowing from friends. It's just enough to open one store.
How much did you get?
Only $500,000 Sing dollars.
$500,000 Sing dollar, okay. Yeah. How did you structure the company back then? Like how does
There's no series A, B, C, D.
So I guess my question
is just okay, this is how much I need to open a store. Yeah. You put how much, okay, you get how much. So I had very little shares.
I see, okay. Yeah. So
I worked my ass off. And I paid myself $1,000. Well, it's $2,000 per month.
$2,000 per month.
Yeah. Okay. I live in a small bedroom with another person, so we share one bedroom. Okay. 2 beds in 1 bedroom.
$2,000. That's not little though.
That was little in
Singapore. That's hard. Okay, I guess.
Long story short, so that's how we did it. So in a way, your family got to know people because they were nice to people, then they introduce people, then the kind of thing. So your luck start to accumulate because you get to know people who trust you, and then you do well. You give them transparent report. They recommend you, and that's how we started to grow.
I see. So again, back in this business, this is not your first business, by the way. You actually had something earlier.
Yeah, it failed within 3 months.
This bomber business, it failed?
No, second business.
Not this one.
Not this one.
What was the one before this one?
It was also a restaurant business.
Okay.
Didn't know better. That was a very small amount of money, about 300,000.
$200,000 invested.
Yeah.
What kind of business was that?
Mexican food.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Where did you get that money from? This is before this Billy
when
Bomber.
when I was in school, I was a teacher's assistant. I was a geek.
Yeah.
I graduated physics. I was a physics student.
Okay. Physics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know?
No, first time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a physics.
But you don't want to do black hole research?
I did a project for NASA actually.
Okay.
A satellite piece, part of a satellite, together with my professor.
Okay.
So I did physics because I wanted to graduate as a astrophysicist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite a jump after that.
Yeah, my dad didn't approve it. So my mom didn't approve it. They said, I will cut you off if you...
They want you to go to the family business?
No, medical.
Oh, they want you to do medical?
Yeah. So
why is that? They all did business. Your
because
granddad did
both my
business.
parents did not finish their college degrees
Okay, I see.
to help my granddad.
Okay.
So they said, don't be a shangren, don't be a businessman. It sucks to be a businessman.
Yeah.
Be a professional, be a lawyer, be a doctor, or don't ever be a businessman. Right?
Okay.
Right. But they said even though they wanted me to be a doctor, they didn't want me to work for anybody. So it goes back to you couldn't choose your parents.
Yeah.
So when I go home from school,
Yeah.
I only remember one thing that my parents tell my two brothers and myself
Yeah.
in Chaozhouhua and English. I said, when you graduate, don't do two things before you're 30.
Okay.
Don't get married.
Uh-huh.
Don't have a girlfriend. Don't get married.
Okay.
Different from Chinese thinking, like China is always 立业成家.
I see.
So, second, don't work for people.
Okay.
Okay? So when you go back home,
Yeah.
that many years of your life, and you're indoctrinated into this philosophy of working for yourself, you never wanted to work for anybody.
But they also want you to be a physician.
Physician, open your own clinic.
But open your own clinic.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can peel off the label.
Yeah.
So anyway, after that, so the whole entire philosophy of a human being as I am at the time has been kind of like molded, right? So in life, for young people in the audience, I would say this thing I learned when I was in China working for Kang Shi Fu at that time. So my chairman said to me that three things in life that change you, right? Three turning point.
In life, okay. This is from the president of Kang Shi Fu. Oh, that's cool.
And he said, your parents
Uh-huh.
will determine 1/3 of what you're going to do and think.
Okay.
Okay? And your character, your reputation, your philosophy. The second third would be your first respected teacher, whoever it is, the one that you 崇拜, the teacher.
Okay.
It's true. I realized that after I looked at back.
Who was that for you?
My physics professor.
Okay. In college.
And the third one is your first real boss.
Okay. How do you define that? How do you define first real boss?
When I sold my company to a listed company, the chairman was my first real boss.
This is
Singapore, Billy Bombers.
Okay.
Okay. He was running as the president for Singapore at the time. Alright? And he did not win, of course. But he knew so many ministers and people. So that's why I come back to the more people, the luckier you get. Or the unluckier you get. You meet the wrong people, you get unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But so you started this Mexican business, and this is
You're
among the
Nacho
Nanas.
Nana's grandmother.
I see. Yeah. And
Fast food.
And how did you raise this 250K?
Friends. Partners,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Happened to become my partner for the Billy Bombers. If you fail honestly so that they still work with you.
3 months you failed. That's
Very fast.
why so fast?
I didn't know how to manage. I was an asshole. I was asshole to myself. I was arrogant.
Yeah.
I thought I knew. I was on top of the world. Young guy doing.
How old were you?
I was like 20, 21.
Okay.
Right.
Very young.
And you have people write news articles for yourself because Singapore is a small country.
Yeah.
Not that many young people come and do at such an early stage.
Okay.
Age. You felt bloated, right? 膨胀.
Yeah, so basically you did a lot of interviews at the beginning of the business?
Yeah, from that day onwards, I learned not to do any more interviews.
Thank you for coming on the show.
No, I'm past that. No, so I was interviewed on a lot of magazines, like those famous magazines.
Okay, so this is one bar or one restaurant. Is this a restaurant?
It's a restaurant.
Okay, so how big was it?
About 200 square meters, not small.
Okay.
Yeah, and in order to, and I was, at an early age, I knew I was very good at PR. So I to get extra mileage to get recognized as a one store brand, I went to the Mexican embassy.
Okay.
In Singapore, and I went there to PR with the ambassador, and he said, "Chris, I will help you if you do one thing. You're so young.
Yeah.
Would you go on a trip mission with the Singaporean business people?
Yeah.
Because you're so young, and you go with at that time the Prime Minister. We go to Mexico City, and I introduced some Mexican restaurant operators there.
Okay.
So I went to Mexico City.
Yeah.
I went to the presidential palace.
Yeah.
For my first presidential dinner. I shook hands with the president at the time.
Let me get this straight. Okay. So you're 21 years old. You get some money from friends, and you had your partner.
Yeah.
You get 250K Singapore dollar.
Yeah, my savings from US when I was a student, TA, and I was a waiter, everything, whatever. Right?
And then
and there's a dark history of my side when I was in school.
What was it?
There's a dark history that I did something that my mom and dad would not be proud of. I took all the tuition money and I did two things. I betted on stocks, which I never knew how to do. I made some good money.
Yeah.
And I made sports bets on football. So anyway, so I was able to put part of the money into the first startup.
I see. So did you have to pay for this PR stunt you had to do?
No, not much money.
Yeah.
So you knock on doors.
Yeah.
So the flight, everything to Mexico was paid by the embassy. So I went. After that, I started to do PR. I got the chairman of Maybank to come to do the opening ceremony and so forth. So got a lot of publicity.
So the Maybank guy, that was also for this first business.
He didn't put money, but he lent me the face. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So because the chairman of Maybank came for the opening ceremony,
yes,
I invited all the other banks who rejected me.
I see.
And they saw the chairman, they said, this guy must be something, let's lend him money.
Okay.
So they lent me money to open up the store for the Billy Bombers.
Okay.
So I was really trying to do Billy Bombers there. No store yet, but Najun Nanas was already crashing.
I see.
But I was honest, I said, look, I did manage, please forgive me, and I will transfer some of the shares from Najun to Billy Bombers.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So I guess these two stores linked. Basically, did first one, it really didn't work. Why did it not work?
I was an asshole there. I didn't know better. I was just being arrogant.
You're not less of an asshole 3 months later.
No,
Something happened.
I humbled so much. I mean,
in 3 months.
In 3 months, yeah.
Why is that? Like, what happened?
Restaurant business needs a lot of capital, so I miscalculated. I undercalculated the amount of time to ramp up.
I see.
Yeah, and you need to, as a founder of any company, always try to raise 1.5 times more than you need because you're going to make mistakes. As a young man.
Moving to Billy Bombers.
Yeah.
Now, okay, at least you need to control your finances a little better. I guess which you did.
Yeah.
Why from a Mexico business to
because I always wanted to buy Jonny Rockets franchise.
Jonny
Rockets. If you've been to LA, Melrose Place.
Yeah.
Melrose Avenue, there's a very famous brand called Jonny Rockets, which recently, last week, they sold it to another whole Thailand.
Was it a chain?
Yeah.
Chain? Oh,
it's a 1950s bebop, jukebox thing, burger chain.
Okay, interesting.
Retro. Everything stainless steel was beautiful. We designed the most beautiful diner in whole Singapore.
Okay.
There's so many photos taken.
For Billy Bomber.
Yeah.
Okay.
And during that time, I didn't want to be in any papers or interviews anymore. You go to YouTube, and you key in Billy Bomber Singapore, you can still see the restaurants, the outlook, the fittings and everything.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's cool.
So you ask any Singaporeans who are my age right now, they still remember the brand.
My God, 1990. So this is 1994 to 1999. You did it for 5 years.
1992.
To 1990.
The brand lasted for 27 years.
Okay, but you exited when?
1997, 96, 97, before the financial crisis.
So Billy Bombers, you did it for 5 years. Why did you exit?
Because I want to get out of the restaurant business.
Why? How many chains do you have by the end of the...
No, very small. Singapore so small, only 5.
But still, young guys,
yeah.
five stores.
Yeah, no debt.
Good
no
business.
Debt. Yeah, no
How much
debt.
money were you making back then?
Salary was like still the same 2005 to 3000.
No, but how much money was the store making?
Wow.
Do you remember?
We made profit outright within 4 months for each store.
4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
There was a lack of this kind of restaurant at the time.
Do you remember how much revenue you guys were making? Total?
In those days, we're doing about renminbi, maybe 600,000 a month. Sales.
How many?
600,000 to 700,000 a month.
600,000 to 700,000 a month.
Sales, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So like 7 million a year.
Yeah, about
7
about
million a
150
year.
square meter kind of space. Yeah.
Okay, 7 million. That's good money.
We did a lot of
In
stuff.
the 90s.
I created drinks like flavored Coke, which they didn't have.
What do you mean?
Lemon Coke, chocolate Coke.
Chocolate Coke?
Yeah, we put this essence from a bakery and we put chocolate essence into the Coke.
Okay.
We stir it and we sell
That's
it.
cool.
We sell
I'd
it.
love to drink that.
Yeah, you can still make it today. I sold the most Coke, more than McDonald's at the time.
Really?
And the McDonald's franchisee, Robert Kwan, he's a billionaire today.
Yeah.
He came to visit my store one day and he wrote me a nice thank you for
For selling Coke?
selling better burgers. Okay? We're selling expensive burgers. We grind the beef patty ourselves.
You should have framed that thank you.
I did.
You did?
It's still
okay.
my home. It's still my home. in
Oh, you gotta
Singapore.
show me that
Yeah.
one day.
So because we sold so much Coke, and Singapore being such a small community, Coke
Yes.
came knocking my door, said, Chris, why don't we do a vending machine, your flavored Coke, in the Coke vending machine?
Okay.
So they gave me 3 vending machines in the Orchard Road area of Singapore. And I was so proud because my logo, everything was stuck on the vending machine, and
That's
you could
cool.
just press lemonade Coke, chocolate Coke, and everything.
That's very cool.
And we became the co-branding with Coke at the time.
That's very cool.
Then after that, I decided to do an upgrade. One store, called it Billy Bombers Classic.
Okay.
Logos were different. It's higher end. I was competing with Morton's, right?
Okay.
Morton Steakhouse.
Okay.
So I was competing and I took the best Porter Steakhouse, Sirloin steak. And that's when I first started getting into wine and cigars. Because I wanted to create a cigar room and wine room and whiskey, everything. I didn't know anything, so I hired people who know better than me. That was when I started to realize I got so many disadvantages and inexperience. So I started to hire people who know this. I was able to pay them well because I sold to this company as a listed company.
Where did you sell them to? What name? Which one?
It's a very gayish name. It's called Hishi.
Hishi?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
H-E-S-H-E.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do they do?
They do garments.
Oh, okay.
So garments was a sunset industry then. So the chairman of the company, he decided to pivot and go into restaurant. So he was already buying restaurants. So I was looking for people to buy my brand to expand it initially.
So did he buy out your shares or you and your partner decided?
Buy out everybody.
Oh my God, but that's your baby. Is that not hard to do?
One bedroom, sharing somebody for so many years, I didn't want that in life anymore.
Yeah.
But
you did make some
money.
You had shares.
But listen, I created a brand, the iconic brand at those days.
Yeah.
So I didn't have money to buy. I decided to do teddy bears, Billy Bombers, and I remember this very clearly. I didn't have. My office was only 4 people. I bought a very expensive printer.
Yeah.
Dot Matrix. Okay. And I started to create boxes.
Yeah.
To house the bear. And I designed everything with my partner. We have no money to hire anybody.
This bear is for what?
It's like Disneyland. No, I love Disneyland. And we have this bear, this thing. So Billy Bombers' mascot is a bear.
Ah, okay.
So I created the story of Billy Bombers like this. I still remember very well.
Yeah.
This story goes like this. A young man coming back from World War II by the name of Stephen Bishop decided to make his home in Singapore and to remember his younger days when he had his teddy bear called Billy Bombers. to create a diner, and on and on and on.
Wow.
So one day, and at the bottom of the menu, I'll say, if any complaints or service, please call Stephen Bishop at this number. Actually, it's my home number.
That's cool.
And everybody who picks up the phone would say, welcome to Billy Bombers. Stephen Bishop's not in it today. So I copied some, of course, these aspects from Jonny Rockets. I could not afford to buy Jonny Rockets franchise, so I copied Billy Jonny Rockets, and I sent my cousin, who was a chef at the time.
Yeah.
To the only money I have, I said I only have so much money. Send it to Perth, Australia, and I don't have money to go with you. Okay, go and find a job in Jonny Rockets franchise there.
Yeah.
And work for a month and let me know what they sell.
And he did. This is your brother?
My cousin.
Your younger cousin.
Yeah. So he did. He went all the way.
Oh my God.
So he came back and we just copied everything. Except the drinks, we did ourselves. So I didn't have money to buy teddy bears to manufacture them. Mm-hmm. But just so happened, one of my store manager, and he's talking about 怎么对人做好人，人家会帮你。Her brother happens to be in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And runs a toy factory. And I said, look, I have no money. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, it's okay. Everything on consignment. You pay me what you sell. I said, really? What can I do? Okay, you can do the bear. I create the design for you. Yeah. The logo, and I create a watch for you. And the watch goes backwards because go back in time. So the watch is 1 o'clock. It's on the left-hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I still have all these paraphernalias in my house in Singapore today.
Oh my God, that's insane.
And t-shirts and bags and everything. So when she bought me, they were buying this brand because of all these other things that other just burgers.
I see.
So I got premium for selling the company.
How much did you sell it for? Do you remember?
Of course I remember.
How much did you sell for? Can you tell?
I can tell you a few $1 million.
A few $1 million? Yeah, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
So the first thing I did was
so this is like a first big bucket of money. I forget about the parlay.
And of course. Then I bought more stocks and I built a house, a bungalow, a villa for myself.
Okay, I want to ask. You also did mention to me before, I guess just earlier, there were so many painful memories also for this period of startup. Yeah. And this is, you're a young guy, you probably don't know how to do a lot of things. This is at a time where venture capital are not supporting companies like they do today. Just let's hear some war stories. Let's hear some.
Well, because when you're struggling as a startup, you have no money.
Right.
So every store that we always owe contractors money.
Okay.
Right? You sign a contract, payment terms, always the last few payments I cannot pay. Because you need cash flow.
Yeah.
So I will do a lot of PR. I'll go out and talk to contractors like Xiongdi, drink beer with them, that kind of thing. KTV those days, I say, look, I'll pay you next month, and on. So they keep supplying me.
Yeah.
And I remember those days I had another partner of mine. He's a billionaire today in Singapore.
Okay.
He's from a very rich family, and they do port in Singapore.
Okay? They manage the port?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good business.
Yeah, he's a good friend. I think I did him wrong. I think we were young, we were very abrasive, and we wanted to grow fast. And one day he said his father wanted to go back to the business, family business. Okay. So I felt a bit cheated because at the time I felt cheated. I don't feel like this way anymore. I think we were all both wrong.
Understandable.
So when I was doing that business, my partner came from a very wealthy family, and he decided to work for his father. I was alone, and I was fighting all these creditors. And to keep the creditors at bay, I learned one thing in life, and to young people, don't run away from creditors, don't run away from problems. Face them face to face and let them see where you are. When you are owed money, when people owe you money, you don't want to see them disappear. I want to see you every day. I'm not going to run away.
Also, the restaurant is doing well, right? Why are they so tough on this?
Because the cash flow is not enough to come in quick enough, right? You need ramp-up period to pay off some this and all that. You always pay employees first. Always pay employees first.
Okay.
Always pay landlord second. Then suppliers. Unfortunately, that's the way it still works like this today.
Yeah.
So I told the supplier, I said, I got to pay my employees first. I don't pay myself. I eat in a restaurant without pay for 2 years. So when you're young and you had a situation like this, I had to, and signatory on the checks
Yeah.
You need 2 people to sign at time. So this is something else I learned.
Which one?
Billy Bombers, when you write checks to pay anything,
Okay.
you need 2 signatory.
Okay.
Because that's 我们的章程, our A&A was done that way.
Okay. So it has to be you and this partner of yours.
But he was never
whose
around.
family who owned the port.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was never around, so I couldn't pay anybody. So I had to go all the restaurants and talk to the customer. Please pay cash.
Okay.
Yeah. So I okay, fine. So I said, I'll collect all the cash, drive beat up car, store by store and collect cash.
Yeah.
I put in a safe.
Yeah.
So that's why till today, where I live today,
Uh-huh.
I still have a big safe at home.
Okay.
It's become a secret. That's why I said things change your life and start to change the way you do things.
Yeah.
So because the creditors, but one day when the creditor he was drunk, a bit tipsy.
Yeah.
So he came to the office asking for payment. I said, don't create sin in a new office that I just sold my company to.
Yeah.
We'll pay you.
Yeah.
We're not running away.
Uh-huh.
You can always find me, you got my phone number, you got everything. I think he was a bit tipsy and he started to push people around. And we started to have a fist fight. It was bad fist fight. We just threw chairs, we beat up
This
each
is
other.
before you sold?
It was after, just right after I sold. I said, I'm cleaning up the accounts, I'm going to pay you now. I got a big check. So we had a fist fight and we didn't call the police, of course. Right?
Don't get the police
Yeah.
involved.
So anyway,
Singapore police.
yeah. I had sleepless nights during those few years of us doing startup because you're always worried about cash flow, money, paying this, paying that.
Yeah.
Business do well, but restaurant business like this, we may look well on the front, but you don't know what's going on behind. You have a lot of unhidden costs. You break a plate, you have to sell 2 burgers to pick up the plate. But the 2 burgers also cost money to make. An employee resign on you costs you 2 times more money to replace a new one.
Okay.
The formula has not changed till today. So anyway, long story short, I went through that stage very hard and go to court case with contractors, not because I was right, because I know I was wrong, but I used lawyer to buy time. Owing lawyers money. But lawyers today are all my good friends. But I paid them off all. Everyone.
Well, you made a little bit of money selling the business.
Yeah, everybody got paid.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't do the trick of I pay you 10 cents to $1. I just pay you off whatever. So the credibility started to come in. It was tough. I didn't sleep very well for a good 6 years. I didn't even dare to date anybody. I didn't dare to have any, I didn't go to pubs or discos or lounge. I was always morning office, nighttime restaurant. I did that for that whole stretch, number of years. I avoided all kind of publicity, newspapers want to write about me, magazine. I didn't get that into my head anymore. So when I cashed out, I was very relieved.
Yeah.
And the restaurants have survived me for 27 years.
That's great.
But
you did mention, right, we're talking about this experience of you with your partner. There's some painful stories there.
Yeah, from a good friend became a enemy.
Enemy?
Yeah, for like...
You guys made money together. What enemy?
No, okay. So he cashed out earlier because, I said, look, if you don't play anymore, you need to sell your shares to anybody. I don't care.
Because it wasn't, I guess he wasn't focused on this because he had his family thing.
He wanted to sell to me. I said, I have no money to buy from you. Look, I'm underwater. I cannot buy from you.
Right.
But you can sell to anybody. I don't care as long as anybody.
Okay.
But nobody was willing to take up his shares.
Yeah.
So this is something I want to put it on officially. I want to take another partner of mine. He was my CFO. He didn't own any shares at the time.
Okay.
He just graduated from Washington State University and he came back from
Washington State University. Okay.
In Pullman, Washington.
Okay.
And he saw me from day one till I got in trouble and all that. He said, this is the thing that still today my heart, I still cry and I bleed and I have tears, He believed in me so much. He says, Chris, I'm going to talk to a few people and we'll buy the shares from this partner.
The partner. Okay.
Who's also his friend.
Okay.
And he said, I got the money for you. I buy it off. I see you save me. That's before we sell the company. That's when we sold the company. And I said, how did you get the money? I made my mom sell her house.
So his mom's what?
Only house.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know he's not rich and they mortgaged the whole house, they sold the house so he could buy the shares.
Wow.
And they went to move to a smaller house.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we didn't have VCs, all our own money. right? When you borrow money from people, it's your own money.
Yeah.
Personal guarantee on it.
Yes.
It's your own money, right?
Yes.
So we sold our soul for it, right? So when we cashed out, we're just so happy. So I wanted to catch on the wave of the first internet wave of those days.
Yeah.
I went to see a few VC friends to see whether they would invest in this thing. VC just started to come up at those days.
Yeah. This is year 1999, I guess.
98, 99.
98, 99, yeah.
And this guy, he works for OCBC Wilson Gordon. Very famous. This VC actually invested in creative technologies, right? You guys were not even born then. Maybe you guys were very young. You don't know.
I was young.
Yeah. So they made a lot of billionaires those days out of the founding companies. And he did not invest with me. I was hounding this guy for so many years to invest in restaurant. He didn't put money into any of my restaurant. Neither did he put money into the IT business I wanted to do. He said, "What do you know about IT?"
Right. I mean, you don't.
I said, "But I just bought a few books."
Okay. Do you remember which books?
IT for Dummies.
Oh, those books.
Yeah, Java for Dummies.
I wouldn't invest in you, Chris.
Yeah. They said, "What do you know?" I said, "I think I know POS business point of sale. I got a lot of network at the time." And I said, "I can put another partner in that used to own the whole Southeast Asia point of sales network."
POS.
Point of sale,
Yeah.
Cash machine for hotels and all that, Burger King, McDonald's. I got another partner.
Okay.
I said, "Let's pull together, but I need money." And he said, "I know you for 6-7 years hounding me, but I trust you. I'm going to quit tomorrow for my job.
Yeah.
I'll be your partner." So he quit from a VC partner as a partner, and he joined me to do this startup.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Where's the confidence coming from? Because he saw you did this.
He knew that it could be done.
Okay.
Right? So I remember that time we have a PowerPoint software. And he said, "Chris, we need to do something to show the investors that how the screen's going to look like on the computer.
Okay.
User interface." I said, "What the hell is that?" He said, "Click." I said, "What's click?" Right? He said, "Something like this." Those days, you had Netscape. It just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Mark Andreessen.
You remember Alta Vista?
Uh-huh.
Ask Jeeves.
Okay.
Those are brands that you don't see them anymore. Then Yahoo started to come up. So I started to use those graphic icons in the PPT and just to say input here, get this, you get this.
Yeah.
So what were we trying to do? We're trying to do a B2B platform. Those days we didn't call it B2B. We didn't know what it was called.
Yeah.
We just say it's this supplier-buyer exchange.
Okay.
You are the supplier of Coca-Cola canned drinks.
Yeah.
I'm a restaurant.
Yes.
I want to buy from you. I don't have to call you on the phone. Use computer to order.
So I'm guessing this idea would come from because you struggled with restaurant business.
Yeah, because I was doing all the purchasing myself.
Yeah.
I know money to hire people.
Okay.
And I didn't even know there was this company called Alibaba at that time.
Right.
Who knows what's Alibaba?
Right.
So we were doing this business to business kind of thing, and so he raised my first 1 million. Through Rothchilds, a friend of his, and I saw
Rothschild, the European
and I saw how he
dynasty.
did it. Yeah, I said, how did you raise the money?
Yeah.
His name is Peter. He says, "Don't worry, I'm going to go drinking these guys tonight."
Okay.
Is that how you raise money? Yeah, that's how we do it. And he got the first check for us.
Okay, so Rothschild led
the only round.
I guess back in the day they don't call it lead the round, right? They just invest.
Yeah. And I put in about 70K of my money, which is not much, 70,000 Singapore.
70,000.
So then the rest we raised. And I didn't know anything about burning cash to grow a business. And he said, "We got to burn to grow." I said, "No way, I'm going to do that." He said, "Why?" I said, "Why would you lose money from day one?" Right? He says, "But that's the internet thing." "What internet thing?" And they said, "Look at pets.com, look at ticket.com, all these things people are doing. And this company, small company in Washington doing Amazon." Huh? What's Amazon? Right? And selling books, pets. I said, "I think ours is much better with helping people to save costs and efficiency." So then Peter asked me, he said, "How are you going to let people talk to each other?" I said, Computer. Everybody buys a modem. right?
Yeah.
We had no Wi-Fi, we had modem, right? The dial-in and 56 kbps, whatever.
Yes.
And started to do very simple trade. We tried. So we had one team doing BD. What they do is that they go knock on all doors of every restaurant operators, and then another BD team goes knock on doors of every suppliers.
But so did you knew a lot of suppliers, right?
Yeah. You're a small country. So we sign up a lot of people. But do you know when you give things free to people, they don't want it. Say, I'm going to give you free this. They didn't understand what's free. These old timers, they run a warehouse, they have Coke, and everything, all the flour, what things. They said, what the hell's that? I said, you need to buy a computer, computers are so expensive, I'm not going to buy computers. So we took the money that we raised, we went to Hewlett Packard and did a leasing program because we didn't have money to buy so many computers.
Yeah.
So the first time we had laptops, it was really expensive.
How much was it, do you remember?
Wow, maybe it's about a simple laptop of maybe about renminbi 10 to 15,000 each.
Okay, this is in 1999 to 2000.
Yeah, where you're not talking about 100, 1T, 2T, it's 100兆都没有这种东西.
Right.
And then you got to buy the card for the modem, the line, and then you got to give it to the buyer and the seller so that they can do the talk to talk.
Okay, so I guess the customer need here is because you were in the restaurant business, you need to buy a lot of supplies, right?
Very, very fragmented.
So before, how do you do it? You make a call.
Make a call,
And
then you fill the form, you fax.
You fax.
Right?
Yeah, I remember those days. No, I'm from those days.
So you fax, you fill in, and then there's the purchasing, and then the requisition, and everything. So we know the whole process. We just want to digitize it.
Okay, so your idea is what? People go to a place, click a couple buttons, and then they're able to buy Coke.
Yeah.
And then Coke get delivered, then you see status.
We were way ahead of time. We were even trying to do an interface. We turned our software to their ERP system, so you can do just in time.
Oh wow! So this is giantpot.com.
Yes, that's right.
Giantpot.com.
That's right.
Okay.
So this is what we call VMI, Vendor Management Inventory System. So VMI is still existing today. Walmart, Carrefour are still using it.
Right.
But they are now it's like version 200. So you think about it, those days when there was a modem, the kind of sound, it takes a long time to connect.
Yeah.
So the suppliers got fed up. So one day we went to do audit on the suppliers. Now we are given thousands of, maybe about 1,000 laptops to both sides, just test. They were playing games on my laptop. They're using for their own company, use email. And I said, how do you guys trade that? Chris, we use the phone to call lah. I said, oh my God. So I remember my salesman, the head, so fed up. He said, Chris, it doesn't make sense. People are not buying this technology. I said, then how do you make them talk to each other? Why don't we help them to call each other? Huh? So they don't use the software? No. So how? Get their handphone, and their handphone, we just flip it and let's talk to each other.
That's what you did?
That's what he did.
Okay, here's what Chris just flipped his hand in front of me right now, because for those of you who can't see. So what you're saying is you have a phone. And you have another phone.
So that the
flip
speaker,
it so they can talk to each other to get the deal done. And then, why don't they just call each other?
So that we can record the transaction on site and key in for them.
I see. Okay, so basically it's almost like you're faking the automation.
Okay. This is what Alibaba did actually the first time.
Wow.
So,
but when did you discover this? So you started the business, you raised the $1 million from
because
Rothschild.
we wanted to clock the transaction online, couldn't get anything online.
You don't see it. And then this is like a few months into the operation?
few months
very
after.
Quickly.
Okay, first of all, you have to create software.
How long did that take?
It's always ongoing.
Okay.
So we didn't want to start from scratch, so we had to buy a basic software from a company called Sterling Commerce. Sterling Commerce is a spin-off company from Bell Labs, USA.
How do you spell it? Sterling
Commerce.
Commerce, okay.
The company's gone. But it was a huge company. They were like the enabler for all online transaction companies in the world. They were like almost a monopoly before Sun Microsystem came in, before all these things, people started coming. So then you start to see Sun doing VC now, AT&T doing VC, investing in the companies.
Yeah.
And it was like riding the wave. And guess how much to do one website? Just the front page with a few clicks, $500,000 Sing dollars.
You mean to get
a website
developer or
www.giantpot.com? The engine cost me about $500,000.
What do you mean the engine? Like, was it developer cost or was it like the whole? Did someone develop
starting kit?
Okay.
Yeah. So what today on Taobao? You go Taobao first page.
Yeah.
You see that page? That's $500,000. Now you can probably do a website for $50 for free, right?
Okay. This is very fascinating for me because I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
That I was a kid back then. What do you mean by startup kit? Like
those days,
those days,
the biggest money making companies are not the e-commerce people like me. They are the people who provide tools for e-commerce. People who set up shops to write software for you.
Okay.
To create information website.
Okay.
Okay.
How would that work? They provide server and the web page, like how?
Yeah. Server, web page.
How did you find those people?
There's so many at the time.
In Singapore?
Yeah.
Because they're probably hard to find in China, I'm guessing.
Not in China, but Singapore, there's a lot from people from India came in to start up. That's why at the time you see people like in India, companies like IIT college who create Cisco.
Already back then?
Back then, yeah. Infosys, Satyam. These are all Indian companies, very, very smart people. Till today, they're still there. They became call centers.
So this is like a developer, I'm guessing.
I'm giving you a history lesson here.
Oh my God, it's very hard for me to understand what's going on. I'm just trying to grasp on things. Okay, so half of that million spent on development of the website, basically. So it's not developed by your own people.
My people built on it.
On top of it.
Yeah, so I had to hire people who can write Java to build on top of it.
Oh, I see.
So the look and feel will be coming from us internally. Externally, the engine. So
the back end, basically.
Yeah, right? I buy the engine of the car.
Yeah.
But I do build the shell.
I get it. So basically the server, the back end, I guess web page and everything is handled by a company.
Yeah.
And what you guys do is just the UI, UX layer on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these guys did for Amazon, did for Yahoo, did for everybody already.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So long story short, it was not successful. It was not successful as a business model. Internet was too slow. People's the smartphone was not available. It was functional phone but not smartphone. No touch screen. Everything's all analog.
Yeah.
So we pivoted the business into a software business.
The pivot happened how many months into the business?
Like less than a year.
Less than a year, okay.
Yeah, less than a year. So again, you have to put on thinking help. Okay, how do you make money?
Yeah.
Sell license, right?
What license?
My engine.
Okay.
All right. So I bought the engine. So I created the car.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to sell cars. It's like Tesla. The batteries did not belong to them. Belongs to some Japanese Mitsubishi or Hitachi, I forgot. And then they build the shell, they make it better. So this business model is no different way today. Okay? All right. So I went to Japan through an introduction of a friend that this Japanese guy and they want to do similar thing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But they don't want to start from scratch.
Okay.
Can you make it Japanese language? Right? So I said, okay, I can do that in Japanese language.
Okay.
I hired a couple of people, we translated, I flew to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm going to open an office in Ueno. And I said, let's do a JV. And to get the Japanese to trust me to do a JV.
A joint venture.
Yeah, I had to go to 2 months worth of KTVs. All right, in Japan.
Yeah? Is that how business is done in Japan as well?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I had to do so much of it because to get the trust. The Japanese he's a good gentleman, he's an old friend of mine.
Did you find the Japanese culture very different from Singaporean business culture?
Of course.
What's the difference? Like?
Face saving is more important, right?
Elaborate on that?
Too many to elaborate.
Let's start with something. What do you mean by face?
You don't go up to them and say, I want to sell you this.
Okay.
You just say, hey, tell me what you have. Let me help you to sell your stuff. Let me know what do you what kind of features you need, what kind of thing you need.
Yeah.
I can bring some customers to you from Southeast Asia, you bring from Japan, that kind of thing. That's what happened. He runs an accounting software company.
Okay.
Which got listed in Kuala Lumpur after that. Yeah.
Which company is this?
It's called Infotech. Okay?
In Japan. Infotech in Japan. It's listed in Kuala Lumpur. Lumpur. Okay.
Yeah. Because his partner's in Malaysia. Okay. And so I went there, and I think they were trying to see whether I was sincere or whether I was real. So they were testing me doing KTV. So Japan KTV is very interesting.
Yeah.
So you have 3 sessions every night, right? For let's say you go there for
3
5.
sessions?
Yeah. Dinner, simple dinner. Then you go to this thing called like normal stage KTV that you sing. I don't sing, so me and my partner, he will go and sing. So those kind you see in the US that you stand on stage, there's no ladies, nothing, just sing.
Right.
After that, you drink a bit, then you go to the second session.
Okay, which is more private, I'm guessing.
Which is more private, still no ladies, okay? No ladies. All gentlemen and all old people sitting there drinking whiskey and whatever.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That was my first time ever to a KTV, my whole life, alright? And then I was telling my mom, KTV is like this. I didn't know, right? Then around 10 to early in the morning, that's when you go to the ladies kind of KTV.
Okay.
I've never seen so beautiful women in my life.
Okay. Right? How old were you? So now 2000.
You work backwards, right?
Yeah.
My Japanese have improved because of all this. So, so I said, okay, what are you going to do? Do it Ueno. Ueno is like a very local part of Tokyo. So I spent a good time in Tokyo, localizing the software and selling it to Japanese establishment. And the biggest customer that they have at the time was the hot spring called Ryokang. RYOKN, Ryokang.
RYOKN. So that's a chain hospital.
No. Ryokang means hot bath.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you want to create this thing called e-Ryokang. E-commerce Ryokang, right? C-trip of Ryokang.
Okay. So people go online, they pick which one to go.
Yeah. So they wanted to use my software for the Ryokang to buy towels and supplies. And
oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And
you closed that deal.
I closed that deal together with them. And to today, the system still works, okay?
Really?
Yeah. Of course, it's in different forms.
Right.
But anyway, that's how I get involved in Japan a lot. And that's how many years later, my YPX, 2年小时, I had a Mitsui investor from Japan.
Oh, okay. So everything is linked together.
Yeah, that's why I go back to, you get luckier when you meet more and more people. Okay?
Because so you start, I just want to rewind for our audience because this is a lot.
During dinner, yeah.
Yeah, because, so we talk about, Chris talking about the more people you meet, you get luckier.
Or unluckier.
He failed a Mexican restaurant very quickly, 3 months. And the same investor sort of moved into a new company, Billy Bomber, which became very successful. Sold it for $2 million.
More than that, yeah.
More than $2 million. Amazing money in the 90s. And then the internet company started because someone was watching you basically doing this restaurant business but didn't invest. But I guess he observed.
He didn't like it, yeah. He didn't like the restaurant business. Yeah.
But he liked you because you got the thing done.
Right? Yeah. So
that's cool. And then this guy and you together started this internet company during the peak of internet craziness. Yeah. And then you shifted to Japan because of the relationship. Yeah. And then the business, I guess, it went well.
We went from a .com business to a non-.com business.
More of a solution-driven business.
Solution business was like, we call it a browser-based hard software business. Okay. There was no SaaS at that time yet. We were just buying license. Okay. And it's interesting because when we put the word .com, right, the valuation company just go up. Okay. Everybody did that. And just so happened that at that time, so many companies in China started to add the word .com. But in 2001, 2000, the crash, after the millennium bug happened, crash, everybody dropped the word .com so that they can stay alive. Because anything to do with .com
it's taboo.
It's taboo.
Yes. Yeah, I remember those years.
So everybody's like, quickly get the .com off, the name card, everything all done. And I remember my dad said to me that day, during those days, said, how the hell can a company that's losing so much money on the burn rate and be worth so much?
Do you remember the burn rate back then for your own company?
Yeah, of course. It's about 60, 70,000 a month. That's a lot of money for us.
60, 70,000
Yeah, a month.
dollar. $16
Yeah,
a month.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
but that's a good amount of money.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. You had not much revenue. Phone each other and not using the system. And then I said, okay, but we licensed Japan, we finally kind of quite not bad money to Japan, to the Japanese company.
Do you remember, so instead of, okay, so the original idea, I'm guessing, is people use the system. Do you take a haircut? What's the original?
Yeah, we take a commission of it.
Do you remember how much you planned to
I think
take?
it's like 2-3%.
2-3%. And then once you move into the Japanese model, the solution-driven model,
It's more successful. And that model that I started where you do the B2B,
yeah,
till today it will not be successful. That's very simple. And it took me many years to realize. Because in China,
Yeah.
a few years back, 小南国, they also did the same thing.
yeah,
They put in a lot of people's money,
yeah,
raised a lot of money with Artisan and some people, rich people from Singapore,
yeah,
raised hundreds of millions. So they did the same thing,
yeah,
B2B, but the internet is very mature. Why should they fail? I said you will fail. And they fail. Why is that? Simple. Human behavior. 人性. I am the distributor for Coke or Pepsi or
Yes.
something that you need.
yeah,
You have a chain of 100 stores.
yeah.
She has a chain of 1,000. Would you want him to enjoy your discount?
So
No.
there a lot of, so I guess the pricing is really determined by quantity.
Because
and
you're
your
buying the same
leverage.
thing.
Yes.
There's no differentiation to a can of Coke or even meat. You can say maybe it's A5 meat or A4 meat or some Wagyu beef. I can buy the same thing. So it's 人性. So as a restaurant operator, my advantage over is my cost.
Right.
Why must I let a 1-store, 2-store mom and pop share my volume? So in Chinese it's called 集采, 集团的采购.
Yeah.
It will not work.
But what if the smaller restaurant combine together? What if they get their leverage, if they
That's
combine
called,
together,
if it's,
united?
if it's the same brand, it's okay, like D-Cost or one brand is fine, but you will not work. Because one of the small brand will look at it this way, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say today, Gabby, you have 50 stores and he has 25 stores, I got 10 stores. We're small.
Yeah.
In China context, we get together, we do it. But because you manage your restaurant much better than I do, and you grow faster than I do, one day you're going to break away. So 人性是会变的.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
If you cannot solve 人性, this business model will never work.
Do you think there's chances of that changing now?
No.
Is there any chance?
No.
No?
No chance.
Okay.
No
well, I
chance.
guess I have to find you a company that
If you can
will
disrupt
run.
that, I'll be surprised because even the Japanese, after they do that, for many years, they still couldn't do it. Things that you cannot change about human behavior, regardless of culture.
Yeah.
Selfish, right? For sure. So systems cannot solve this.
Okay. Okay, so how did that business, so where did that go? What happened afterward?
Oh, so we sold the company to a Singapore company in the end. We made some money. They like the software. They're still running it.
Okay, how much did you sell for? Do you remember?
Yeah, just a few million.
A few million. Yeah. Okay, so again, a few $1 million, very good. How long did you operate that for?
1.5 years.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
You started with...
I made more money betting on football than just in terms of return.
Yeah, but we do not recommend people getting in gambling.
Yeah.
This is our official policy here. Go do startup, don't do gambling.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And this is, I guess now we're into the 2000s, right? So I do want to get into the part a lot of our audience, I guess, would be interested in, which is you had no experience in China, right? I want to say
I can't say I have a lot now either. I cannot say that.
Well, let's talk
more
about,
than compared to myself. But only I cannot compare to myself.
Let's start with 2000, right?
Yeah.
You went to school in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, you're from a Singaporean family.
I was born in Malaysia, Malaysian family. I went to Singapore.
Singapore, okay.
to continue my study.
Yeah.
Then I went to US. Then when I went to Singapore. Then before I came to Shanghai, I traveled a lot within Southeast like Vietnam. I was one of the very early guys to go to Vietnam.
Right. So, but all these things, then you ended up in China. I'm not even going to ask like why China, because people would say, oh yeah, it's China, it's a lot of opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Just...
No, you're right. I was looking at India at that time.
Okay.
Because English speaking.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Either that or Indonesia. But Indonesia was a very backward, old-fashioned country doing Mei Kuang, Jing Kuang, all that kind of stuff.
And India is very behind back then.
No, they were very advanced in technology.
Oh, really?
But because India has sorry, I don't mean to be sensitive towards the Indian audience, if you have any. India has a caste system, right? The Brahmins and the Pariah. And also India was not very welcoming on foreign investment. Still not really today.
Yeah.
And if you're going to India, you have to have a joint venture with the local guys.
Yeah.
If you're a retail business, even worse. China was like that too.
Yes.
Right? That was like that one time until like early 2000 and I think 1990 something they
But even now, like without a Chinese partner, it's very hard to do business here, right?
No. China is, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding.
You think? Yeah.
No. I have open businesses in China without Chinese partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have Chinese partners who work with me not as a partner shareholder, but as a partner. They're very nice to me. Very nice. I mean, they treat me so well. Right? I think they're very trustworthy. I've never been cheated in China. I've never been.
That's very surprising.
I've never been.
You know what people think of. I'm
never,
Chinese, so I guess I'm allowed to
you go
say
back
this.
to you go to the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up more or less in Waco, Texas, which is a very small country town, and KKK was
they must be racist, no?
Oh, they were
Texans?
racist.
I'm sorry,
but
Texas.
however, I was never been caught a chain or slur ever. And my mom asked me, she said, why is that so? And I reviewed my life.
Yeah.
And I learned this from my dad. I remember I told you I went to 6-7 years of Islamic school.
Okay.
Right?
Just to our audience, Chris and me talked about different religions as well. And this is surprising because you mentioned you went to Islamic school.
When I was in kindergarten, my dad, doing business in Malaysia, you need to have a local partner, even though you're born there.
Because the religion...
It's still very, very strong. Malaysia is a racial-based politics.
I see.
So if you're Muslim, you're Muslim. You cannot, So my dad wanted to be part of the society. So he said, son, you're going to go to a Muslim school. You're going to study Malay and English, no Chinese.
Was that because of business need, or was that just want you to be well educated?
Both.
Okay. So this is when you were how old?
Well, look, when I was young in school, primary school, when I eat with my Malay friends, I do eat with chopstick or fork and spoon. With my hand. I eat with my hand.
Okay.
Typical hand, right?
Okay.
Right? Doing their so-called artifictory. Artifictory is their...
What is it?
春节那种的年 New Year's Day, their New Year's Day.
Okay,
so they have a fasting
Malaysia.
month. After fasting month, they break fast and so forth, right? I had to break fast with them. I had no food for a whole day, and then at night. So I was like living the life of a Muslim. But my mom's Buddhist.
Okay.
Okay, so I go home, I learn Buddhism and Taoism.
Yeah.
I had to go home and pray to the land God and that God and ancestors.
So why Taoism?
But my mom believes in both Taoism and so I have like Guan Yin Yang Yang and Sun Kong and they pray.
Okay.
Trust me, my house has all these kind of idols, right?
Yeah.
So very traditional family. But I go to school, I read the Quran. I do Sembayang. Sembayang means pray with them 5 times a day. And in Malaysia those days,
facing the direction.
of course, the Mecca.
Yeah.
So during those days, Friday and Saturday are weekends. Sunday is first day of work and school.
Okay.
Till today is like this. Okay. So I grew up in the environment. So I went to US. I went to a Baptist school.
So Catholic now.
Baptist.
Okay, so Christian.
Southern Baptist, right?
Right.
So Baptist school, you have to take Bible study to graduate.
Okay.
So I had to take Old Testament, New Testament, and I had to be part of a missionary for a while. And after that, I went to Methodist school for my MBA, which I did not finish, by the way. I did not complete my MBA. So I went to Methodist school.
It's another story to talk about. But yeah.
Yeah, but when I was young, because my mom was worried I'd get brainwashed or things, the Islam is a religion which I respect a lot. They're very, very peaceful people. And my mom wanted me to learn English. So she got me a very good tutor. I told you I was born in kind of family of privilege, right? So got me a tutor.
Yeah.
My tutor is Punjab. You know Punjab?
No.
Turban.
What religion is that?
Punjabi.
Okay. So that's Indian type of
It's
Buddhism?
Gujarati, north part of India.
Okay.
When India, Pakistan, before they split, I love history, right? How they split everything. So my tutor, turban. The people were turban. So
with the thing on their head. And
they grow their hand, so they tie it up. So they wear a bangle and a dagger all the time.
Okay.
So these three things that they must to become a Sikh, S-I-K-H.
Okay.
So every day when I go back from school, I will have a 1 hour tour with my tutor. His name is Mr. Arjan Singh. Okay, Singh, S-I-N-G-H.
Yeah.
So he says, I'm going to teach you what your mom asked me to teach you, right? English, okay, and Sikhism. So I started to learn about Guru Nanak and how he went to heaven and get the scripture and everything. I said, oh gosh. I said, I got to study the Quran, I got to study this. I got to listen to my mom talking about Buddhist, right? So, but I became more open-minded and more powerful after I get all these things.
Did you believe in any of these things? Or I guess what I'm trying to ask is, today it feels like if you believe in something, you get a bit more extreme on it, right? Or was it?
No, because I had so many of these.
Yeah.
I realized there's only one common denominator, because be a good person and can go to heaven. Be a bad person, go to hell.
Because that's like a common thing.
Yeah,
in a lot of these religions.
just that you take different route, right? One is Sikhism, one is this and this and this and this.
Okay.
And this. 就不一样的帮派嘛，峨眉派、武当派、少林派，什么都是，但是还是武功嘛。
Right.
Right. 做好人嘛，对吧？ Then 道德经
Yeah.
Right? Then of course, then my dad will teach me 孔子啊，这些中庸啊，这些。Then me and my two brothers like, we're so tired.
It's boring. It must be boring for kids.
No, it's not boring. You learn so many things, but you're so
No, but
tired.
it must be boring back then, no? Or was it interesting when you were younger?
It was interesting. Come on, we had no internet. We had no iPad. We had only a TV, only 4 channels on TV.
Okay.
Very little distractions.
Yeah.
We played games like marbles, and checkers, board games. So you have a lot of time to learn.
I guess history would be something to read.
Yeah, right. I still read.
Time.
I still read a lot today. I still read.
But how do you reconcile? So
You don't.
there's
you don't reconcile. You respect.
I see.
Yeah. You don't try to change people's mind because you believe something. But you should be open-minded and read. But don't be biased and start to put judgment.
I see.
Yeah. I'm biased. You are biased. She's biased.
Yeah.
We're racist. Just different level.
I see.
Just
yeah.
different
So
level.
my wife is also listening to this chat.
So that's how the whole thing became what it was when I sold my company, built my company, and I realized one thing: it's not important whether you understand China or culture, software, restaurant, chain store. You just have to understand one thing: what do people want, and can you give it to them? Right. So if you form a business in China, and you have a few partners like what I have right now, I have a few partners right now.
Yeah,
much younger
very
than I do.
talented ones.
They're very talented, but having all talents in one pot does not make it successful.
Right.
Having all talents in one pot to melt it into one is the tough part. Okay? So remember during dinner I was saying that when I first started my first business, we were all so young. Maybe we were not even puberty yet. Then your partners, your friends, your first employees who became shareholders get married, have kids, they think differently. You spend half your life and a day with your boss, your company, your partners, your shareholders.
Yes.
The other half your wife and a kid. So the two things that will change your mind or evolve your mind are these two people. So that's why I was telling you during dinner, I'm studying more and more how family businesses can last and those that cannot last.
Okay.
All right. I hate to say this in front of Gabby, but whether it's Gabby or you, it's the same thing. So this thing called pillow talk, right? So there's pillow talk, whether it's man or woman. So, but because my mom is a very strong woman, my grandmother is very strong. They were not weak ladies in those age. Those age. They run their own businesses.
Okay.
They manage their own accounts. They manage businesses. So that's why you see a lot of my previous past companies, a lot of my leaders, my departments are all ladies, mostly. And I always I know my partners right now, if they hear, they will like beat me up to death tomorrow. I have more leaning towards more ladies running companies than not.
Why is that?
Part is bias because my mom and my grandma. Right?
Okay.
Second is I know my mom when she was taking care of the business and all that. Being a woman is tough, right? Being a man is tough too, right? I mean, but being a woman, you have your period every month, right? You get headaches and all that kind of thing. You get moody. You got to go come home and you worry about food. Although we have maids and all that, but you still have to worry about food.
Right.
You still got to be a good wife, a good mother, and a good teacher.
Right. So that's quite a...
No, their pain point is very high. But if they're pissed, they'll be a bitch, right? I mean, you have to... So you have to balance, right? So men take it easier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying men's job are not easy. It's not. But the society expect a lot from you. And one reason why I didn't want to be in the family business, very, very simple. Because if you do very well, they say that, of course, 理所当然的.
Right.
If you fail, they say you deserve it. You lose both ways. Right?
Is this one of the original drive why you didn't want to join?
And that's also why a lot of family businesses don't last third, fourth, fifth generation. Not because they spend the money.
Right.
So, but of course, majority of the time, the second generation will maintain the wealth of the first generation.
That's right.
And they don't want to take risks because 没有一个二代要像做败家的.
Right.
Then the 三代呢, the third generation, the second generation say, don't anyhow waste our money. Grandfather built it, grandma built it. If you do this, I'm going to kick you out.
But it must be hard for them, right?
No, but this is a triangle, right?
Yeah.
Start with one patriarch.
Yeah.
Then you have second generation with smaller cluster. Then you're going to have kids and grandsons and grandchildren, everything. Then the big cluster is here. That's why agricultural businesses in China and in many ways in Europe, they don't go to many generations because they could split the land.
Right.
Then from a wealthy family become like Hong Lo Mong, they start to split, right?
Yeah.
So they don't last. So because in Asia we don't understand the trust fund, we don't understand trust.
Yeah.
And the other word trust is trust a professional to run it for you, while you take the money, do more other kind of business, charity or whatever, just like Rothchilds or Disney, they do very well, right? So coming back to this, how I evolved because of my background, good or for worst,
I
right?
see.
When we're doing dinner, I was talking about even the worst human being in the world, like Hitler, has friends, has wife, Eva Braun, right? Has Donald Trump 個標會崇拜他的, right? There's no such thing as pure 100% evil. It's just whether you treat people well or not. If you treat a lot of people very badly, even if you're successful, eventually you still come down.
I
right?
see.
Hitler is one case, right?
Okay, so from the Hitler story, let's get to China. Okay, because this
2000,
very interesting story.
So what did I do when I came to 2000?
You don't speak Chinese, right? I guess we talk about that even in, we talk about that.
I couldn't even understand the word or understand the word character. I went to kindergarten. There was my only time I saw the Chinese word was 手和口.
Yeah.
And my teacher says, write the 手撇什么. I didn't know how to do it. I took a ruler. I do like that. Make a perfect angle.
Call is better.
Call is 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And my teacher said, this is not how you write. But it's beautiful, isn't it? So my mom said, this is not how you write Chinese. My dad said, give up, go and study Malay and Arabic, whatever. Yeah.
I see. So coming to China, that's take a bit of courage. So you...
No, didn't take too much courage. I wanted to come.
Yeah? Why? So you analyzed India and you thought, okay, here in India, there's
easier being Asian Chinese in China than Asian Chinese in India. That was the first thing that I thought of. Second, if I were to go to Indonesia, in Indonesia being a Chinese, you get to do a lot of stuff as well, right? 5-6% of Indonesia population of 300 million is Chinese, but they control 80% of the economy, right? So it's Malaysia. But you'll always be second-class citizen.
In Indonesia?
Sure.
Why is that?
Because you are not the indigenous people.
I see.
Right? Indigenous people in China is Hanzhu. I'm Hanzhu, right?
Uh-huh.
Although, of course, I'm still not regarded by my local Chinese friends as Chinese because I wasn't born here. I don't blame them. I understand. So I still feel much more homely here than anywhere else. Yeah.
We did talk about that because, you know, in this day and age between, you know, what's happening with the US and China and also just all the opportunities that's happening, everything happening in China. There's so much opportunities here, right? So, you know, here literally we're calling all the Chinese people to come home and maybe do something.
Actually, it's not entirely true. I don't subscribe to that.
No?
Okay, look at Singapore. Population of 5 million, only 2.4 million is Singaporean, or maybe half is pure born-bred Singaporean. The rest are new Singaporean, or 新上海人那种概念一样.
Yeah.
But why in Singapore you still have so many billionaires, right? And I got a few friends who are billionaires in Singapore who don't even have a single business in China.
Okay.
Right? I have a lot of European friends in small countries like Poland, or even like Ukraine, which is a poor country.
Yeah.
They are very successful rich people, but they don't even have single business in India or China.
So how would people think about that then?
So you got to decide what kind of things you want to sell. You're selling services or products, of course China, India. You need volume. But in a business of financing or properties, especially properties,
right,
hotels or 住宅, all that kind of thing,
yeah,
you don't have to be in China. You can be in a very resource-poor country like Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, and you make a lot of money without coming to China. Just because the price of property is so high. Right? You buy, you sell, you make money already. United States, same thing. You don't have to open office in here. You can still make a lot of money if you do a very good product and you sell to the Chinese.
Do you think it's harder for Chinese in a country where they're not the dominant class? Would that make it more difficult? I guess because Singapore is different, right?
It really depends what you do. If you're here going to open a fast food chain selling Chinese food, come on, you got to have a Chinese domain, right? Like right now, I'm consulting for Sandbox VR, which is Alibaba-backed company. The CEO is Hong Kong-born American, right? So
explain the business a little bit.
It's a VR game.
How does the game being played?
You wear the Oculus goggle.
I remember the company. So you basically put down the goggle. There's a physical space. Basically, they model the physical space.
It's a fantastic company. Wonderful product. We're going to open a first store in Shanghai. I'm opening that. This is before the RTD business.
So they're modeling the physical space to simulate, I guess, sort of Counter-Strike.
Motion detection, everything. Okay. It's high end.
Okay, and started by Chinese.
Hong Kong Chinese.
Okay.
But he spent most of his time in the US, in Silicon Valley. So anyway, so that also we advised them to find a local Chinese to run it in the long run. I believe that China doesn't really need that many foreigners anymore. Okay?
You think?
Not think, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Many companies I look at should be managed by Chinese, not because I'm being politically correct, but I think it's because they can immerse much quicker than Americans or British or whatever, right? Even the Taiwanese, I think Taiwanese are much better in terms of immersing themselves into China because the culture did not really change that much. They're not very westernized. That's why you see a lot of very successful Taiwanese companies in China versus Hong Kong. Hong Kong, maybe they come to China and successful only real estate, but they don't build brands. Most of them, I'm not saying all. So Singapore is the same. Singapore is a used to be managed by the British Empire. But if Singapore didn't have Malaysia, Philippines, Southeast Asia, and Indonesia and India, it's tough for them because Singapore doesn't really put all their eggs in China basket. They cannot, right? So I think in the next 20 years, every city in this big company is going to be, it will be managed by Chinese. Already starting, already is happening. And this will never change. That's why those who want to come back early.
I see.
If you stay too long over in a country, then stay there. Do something there. Right? It's fine. Right? Look at Panda Express in the US. I mean, that guy is doing so well. They don't have to come back. But if you want to come back here, if you stay there too long, the gap between you and the smartest kid from China, with 1.4 billion people, the percentage, even 2% smart people, is still a lot.
I see. Okay, so let's talk about your business in China. How did you overcome that difficulty?
Well, when I first came in here, I didn't do my business because I didn't know how to.
Okay.
So I tagged along on nonstop, which was part of Siemens before.
Yeah, it was owned by Siemens, and later
they spin off to
right?
KKR, right?
Yes.
Then after that, I said, my experience is still not enough, right?
Yes.
I already know the structure of our business in China as a foreign company. Now, when you work in a foreign company, there's a problem. You're under a bubble, protected, right? Anything problem, just send to HR, just get it done.
Just tell people a little bit more about Wingcore Nixdorf. What did they do?
Wingcore was called just Nixdorf. Okay, Nixdorf. So Nixdorf is the name of the founder.
Okay.
He was in the computer
It's
business.
a German company.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
He was a founder, I forgot the name of his full name, but Nixdorf, Mr. Nixdorf. So he started the company a long time ago, and it was computer business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember there was, those days there are so many computer companies. Besides Apple and IBM, there was
Compaq,
HP, Lotus.
Right.
Then you have this Tulip.
Okay.
Have you heard Tulip?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, Tulip is European, and Robbie probably would know. Tulip, you know Olivetti?
No. This is all very old school.
Huge company, but no anymore. Olivetti is Italian, right? Olivetti. So all these companies at one time they start to consolidate, right? Because it's so hard, margins get smaller and smaller.
Right.
So, but Nixdorf was also in ATM business, banking business. So they transformed the business into ATM that you see today along the street. You see ATM.
Yeah.
There are 3 brands around the world that does ATM business. Wingcore Nixdorf, which is more like a younger company. The oldest company in the world that does cash register, POS, and ATM is NCR, National Cash Register. Right, since 1890 something. Right. And then, of course, you have IBM and Diebold. You know Diebold?
Yeah.
You buy the safe, right? The Diebold, yeah. So, I mean, Diebold bought Wingcore recently. So, anyway, long story short, they were doing this and they want to go into the POS business, retail and hospitality.
And you tagged along. Why would they choose you? You don't speak Chinese.
Oh,
why would you?
Okay. So one day we were having a meeting in Singapore, which was the regional headquarters. Yeah. All right. So I was sitting in the office after I sold my software. So I was listening to all the country heads giving a report, and also I belong to the Asia Pacific region. So all the country heads more or less like dotted line to us. Dotted line, not direct line.
I see.
So I was listening. I said, "Wow, the sales of Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, like this. They don't have hospitality yet, right? F&B, they don't have it yet."
Right.
So I said, China is just starting to grow. I think the sales are 1 or 2 million a year, that's about it. And I went to talk to the GM of China, the head of China, Beijing guy. I said, I spoke in English. I said, is there any way for me to work under you? Right? I don't want to be in headquarters anymore. I don't want to be.
How did you even get in touch with the guy?
When we have a meeting in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, the regional head meetings. And he said, okay, why don't you come for 1 or 2 weeks? He said, what are you going to bring to the table? So people are like this. If you bring something to the table, they'll help you. I said, give me a few months. So I went to talk to all the regional brands, which so happened to be in Singapore. Right? And then I said, I'm going to bring you to China. I'm going to help you to do this. If you help me to sign on as my potential customer. So I flew to Beijing and I said that to the GM and I said that this is what I can bring to you. If I cannot do it in 1 year, you can send me back to Singapore.
So it's almost like a 对赌协议.
Yeah,
right.
But because he has to pay for my flight, my accommodation, everything, right?
Okay.
It's coming out from his P&L. So I said, okay. So the moment I hit Beijing, I didn't rest. I just went all around, grabbed whatever sales I can go, my broken Chinese, and I engaged one of the old employees from Wingcore, a Beijing friend of mine, now very good friend. I said, if you help me, I'll help you to do international brands. You do the regional, we work together. I don't drink that much, you drink, I get in, we do the entertainment. And it worked so well. And then they started to see the sales going up in China. They said, why don't you take care of the whole Asia Pacific? I said, sure, but I want to hire somebody from each country.
So you say the sales start going so well. Give us some numbers.
Well, when I exited, it was about 100 million US sales.
That's $100 million US?
Yeah.
That's in how many years?
3.5.
3.5 years. So before that, how much
almost
was
100.
it?
Huh?
Before that, how much were they selling?
Less than one.
Less than 1 million.
Yeah.
And now you and this guy.
Yeah. So, for example, when before Burger King came to China, so I went to US to talk to Burger King. I knew that they were going to come. I said, give me a chance to change the system. So why should we change? We're using this brand already, which has a representation in China. I said, well, I can be more 接地气. I can help you to do...
You saying it could be more 接地气.
Yeah,
okay.
Can be more localized, more to the earth, and response time within 3 hours or instead of like 1 whole day.
Yeah.
So you'll be better than our competitor. So you build up so that's how we got the first store.
From Burger King?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So Burger King landed in China and started using Nixor.
Yeah. First store.
Wincore Nixor.
Yeah,
dog.
the first store is the one that the Jing'an 那个Yili路.
That's amazing.
And then still there. And the CEO came from CEO of Burger King. At the time he was the ex-chairman of Continental Airline.
Mm-hmm.
He came by and we had a talk. Said I want to do the whole China, but the BurgerKing grew very slowly at the time. So
Right.
we went to Papa John's.
Papa John's, okay.
Yeah.
I love
we went
this
to a lot of car. Then D-Cost was one of my customers.
And so basically, you had an advantage because of your restaurant startup experience and your POS experience. You had contact and you had understanding to the Western world,
yeah,
right? And,
more Western world at the time. Yeah.
and you had, so basically you pitched to them, look, someone would work with me to handle dealing with Chinese because you don't speak much Chinese.
Yeah.
But you could deal with the Western world.
I had no ego.
Right.
So when you come to China, don't have any ego.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put on an ego that you know better than the Chinese. Don't think because you come from Yale, Harvard, or think you are better off than anybody else.
Okay.
You have to be very, very humble. So I went to all these brands. I went to Yoshinoya, I went to D-Cost, and Kang Shi Fu those days.
Right.
I said, hey, this guy, can you write my white paper for me? Can you do this for me? I said, I'll do anything for you for free.
Okay.
Okay, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you. So D-Cost was my first big case. And he said, I want the machine to...
Which one?
D-Cost, 德克士.
Oh, 德克士, okay.
And I said, I want this thing to be white color. I said, I don't do white. Because the factory in Singapore cannot inject white into the plastic. Can I paint it for you? So we painted.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but 会跳色, you know. So, but once they get into the 10 stores, now I have a case. I went to Singapore, I said, I want everything white from now on.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to 协调 with the factory and tell them, I want to do that.
What's the biggest, like, you must gone through some really, like, hard stories or hard sells, right?
Everyone was hard. Everyone was not easy. Because it was hard. I had to... So they already signed a contract with a Taiwanese point of sales and software already.
So they did already, okay.
They already had 700 over stores already signed.
I see.
Yeah, already start installing.
I see.
Yeah.
And you convinced them to change?
Not yet. I went to Taipei.
Uh-huh.
I went to look for a software company and said, please switch to me. Okay?
They must say no. Like,
they said no.
We had a business going, why would we switch?
No. I said, okay, never mind. So I went back to Tianjin. I said to the CTO, he passed away last year. It's a good friend of mine. So I said to him, what do you want? Price. I said, okay, how much do you want it for? If I give you this price, this kind of service, a Fortune 500 company kind of service, but you convince that company in Taiwan, the software to work with me, get it certified in 1 month, I'll give you this price.
Okay.
And he said, okay.
Sorry, just to understand, the Tianjin company did what?
The Tianjin 德克士 is 在总部在德克。
Oh, I see, okay. So basically, I'm trying to understand the relationship here. So they already had the contract with the Taiwanese company,
that's right?
Right?
That's right, yeah.
And then you went there, you say, okay, basically I have a competing product.
Right.
What do you want so that I can sell it to you?
That's right.
And they give you a number.
They give me a number, the specs and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
And the reason for them, did they use the machine on the growth part of the business or did they change something?
On the growth part first.
I see.
On the growth, the new stores first.
I see. What do you think is the reasoning apart from the fact it's cheaper? Is there other reasons?
I wrote for them the backend solution.
Right.
What I can do for you if you appoint me as a 总包, right? Which other company will not do. Okay? So, because this has been many years, I can say it. So I said, okay, what can I do to win the deal? Okay, I said, we're going to do a whole new bid just to make sure everybody looks Fair.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. But I said, but can you share with me others? 其他不说了啊。
Okay.
Relationship.
I see. So there are relationship involved, and you got through. You at least get them to try the product.
Yeah.
And that's how the
I
relationship.
made sure one of my own stuff at the time. I said, I'm going to put you in Tianjin. You're going to live there until you get things right.
Okay.
You're not going to live. You're going to be with him every day. If he wants you to take him out to dinner, you do it. If he wants you to pour him a cup of tea, you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
When you are young,
Yeah.
you don't think too much. But please, as a husband and father right now, you work hard, but you have to remember one thing. Nobody's going to be loyal to you other than your family.
I see.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're going to have loyal friends like my friend who sold his house to help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's loyal, I'm loyal to him. To death, to worst part. Okay? He's closer to me than I am to my two brothers. Even to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I want, at 52 years old, although I'm not old enough to give you any wisdom or any wise words, but I sacrificed 21 years until I was 41 without going through the normal teenage life, without going through the normal young people's life of going to lounge, travel, dating, just because I was trying to juggle so many employees, work staff, and everything. It's the biggest mistake I made in my life. I know, not I think, I know. Everybody balance life differently, right? Work and life. Like I said, you spend half your time with your company, boss, partners, half your time with your family. If you have, these are the two people that influence your life, right? So think about it every day when you wake up. So my biggest struggle in life in China right now is, where do I die? Do I die in Shanghai and become my home? I've decided yes. Or do I die in Malaysia and just be done with it? Or do I die in Singapore? So I visited my ex-boss last year before COVID. He said, Chris, what do you want in the end, right? I don't have burden, I don't have 上有老下有小，我没有嘛。I said, at least when I die, 我的墓碑会写我贡献了什么。Right? So whatever we do in life, we need money. You may want to do things that you like if you're happy because you're still young. And I'm going to wake you up today. Okay. I'm going to wake you up really, really hard. You do need money to enjoy the things that you want. You don't have to buy a Ferrari, Lamborghini, a yacht, a nice house. You don't have to. But if you want to do charity, you need money. If you want to have insurance for your kid, you need money. You can say, yeah, I have everything. I never believed that. So 2 days ago, a VC asked me, which is, maybe she's young, so she asked me, she says, 你是财富自由的人，你为什么还要这样重新创业？
Right.
No. 没有人在这个世界是财富自由的。
Okay.
因为你再有钱，你的梦想很大。你现在要买个大厦，
Right.
你要去借钱买，
Right.
那你又加上你的 burden 了。但是我有一个很多人没有，我是精神自由的，我的精神是自由的，我可以选择要不要做。
Right.
但是我一旦我做了，我就套进去，等于说我就没有财富自由了。Right? I have to work hard on it.
Right.
So I decided that my 墓碑 will be in China somewhere. Okay? I was joking with my mom the other day. I said, Mom, do you hate your neighbor? She said, I hate my neighbor. So put my body in the garden facing the neighbor with the 墓碑. Just kidding. Just a piece of the neighbor. And I want to build schools, right? I want to build, these things cost money. It's easier to spend money to build than to fundraise to do it. It takes longer.
Why are they important? Why are these charities or schools or...
These are not charity. This is more like a platform to help. If you're born unlucky, but you're born smart, who is that to blame? God?
It's a very hard question.
Wrong sperm?
Very hard question.
Right? So I've seen rich people become poor become rich and become poor again. We were saying the other day, right? So if you have only one day to live and you can die peacefully without pain, tomorrow 10 o'clock at night, you just go. What will you do now? I hope you say you go home, see your wife and your kid.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Nothing else is important anymore. If you know for sure you're going to go, not uncertainty, okay?
Right.
What if it's 1 week?
Yeah.
What if it's 1 month? Somebody say, oh, I'm going to take care of everything, buy insurance, take my money out.
Bucket list.
Yeah, pack a list, do something, spend some of my money. What if it's 1 year? What if it's 20 years? You know what I'm going to say? 等那时候再来说吧. So that's the reason why we have insurance company. We buy insurance because we worry that we don't know where we're going to go. So human beings do not fear death. They fear pain. Not pain in bodily pain. Okay? So if you're bankrupt tomorrow, you still got to live.
Right.
很难面对社会的.
Right.
那是更痛苦，对不对?
That's right.
But if you're dead, you're dead. But you cannot say that when you're a father and a husband. Very responsible for you, of you to say that.
Right.
So that's why a lot of times when you can select your destiny, because you're born in Somalia, Syria, and you're born 0 days, 1 day old, boom, bombs everywhere.
Right.
You lose your parents. You become an orphan.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that? Karma? So think about it, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a very good point. I mean, we are lucky, right? I mean, you're lucky. We're lucky. We're born in an age where the country is stable.
Yeah.
You know, we have good parents. We send us to good schools, and we learn all these things.
We were having dinner. We're talking about, you say that don't like people in China who are very materialistic everywhere. Look, China's not the only country that's materialistic, right? Every country is. Actually, I looked at Douyin recently about the Mingyuan.
Right. Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny.
All over the place.
But,
Yeah. I mean, everyone's been sharing them. That's insane.
but I want to say something though.
Yeah.
We're all part of this. We may not be taking photos in a 下午茶, but we take photos in a society like BC, and we want to be associated with Sequoia or Hill
That's
House, right? In a way, it's a in a way it is, right?
So
Yeah, right?
So you're saying we're playing the same game in the 创投
if there's no 名媛概念,
right.
there's no KOL.
Yes.
What's the point? So let's not lie to ourselves.
Don't worry. No, you can talk in the show.
Yeah.
We're just casually talking.
别骗自己.
Yeah.
就接受就行了, 就接受.
That's right.
开玩笑 okay. But we are no different, right? I go to a shop, I go to buy a nice pair of shoes, I buy Tiger, I buy Nike. Yeah, maybe it's cheap compared to, let's say, you buy a Hermes bag. But there's still brands.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
We don't buy them because we need something.
Only the super rich people will try to be humble by saying, I wear a Casio. But Li Ka-shing wears the famous 3000块人民币的 Casio. But does anybody know he's the second largest collector of Patek Philippe? 人是这样，没办法，包装啊。
Right. My God. Yeah, those are. How did you feel these people who they were important people in your life? I mean, I'm sorry I'm asking this, right?
You're all important.
Yeah. It's just you must be shocked in some way, right? You must have
at what?
At these people passing away, these important people in your early business.
Yeah. I mean,
people who helped you.
Every time I go to Morton Steakhouse, which I have a wine box in IFC Morton.
In where?
In Pudong.
Okay.
The Morton Steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
So you see my name there. Next to it is my friend that passed away. And the wines are still in there for the last 2 years. And I asked the GM, I said, what can't you give to the wife? They can put in export. And nobody takes care of it. It's just still there.
Wow. My God.
So I hardly go there.
So you don't go there anymore. You have to do something there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So now we start thinking about life and death and.
No, not for you. For me, yes.
Yeah, well, now you got me thinking about this as well. We got to do something. Is that why that's driving you to get back in the game? Is that part of the reason?
I've always been in the game.
Right.
Always been, right? I mean, look at 推小时，然后 Lumi， 包括现在我们的小诺的。I've never given up building things. Just that my dream gets bigger. My dreams get bigger. I don't want to do a China brand anymore. I want to do at least an Asian brand.
I see.
Right?
That's what. So NOD for our audience. That's the new venture Chris is taking on with our good friend Marco.
Yeah.
Carrie.
Yeah.
Robin and
Dylan Jingkai. Yeah.
Dylan and Jingkai. Yeah. So this is a very diverse team. What's the end game?
End game for me, not for them.
Yeah. What's the end game for you?
My end game for me is that once they hit 3 billion RMB in sales, net sales, hopefully next 2.5 years.
Okay.
I can get it done, right? I don't know about the profitability, how much it is yet, right? We cannot lose money. I think that will be a time for either one of them, or we get from outside to manage it better than us. It's not just talk. Right? If I'm 30 years old and say this, you can don't believe me. Right? And my juncture right now, you have to believe me. And I said that.
Yeah, you did mention something interesting earlier, not in the recording. You mentioned being a CEO is basically being a super HR.
It is a super HR.
So this is an interesting thing to talk about, right? Because people talk about, I forgot who, they say, hey, being a CEO, of course you got to deal with people, that's most important. You got to deal with strategy. You got to deal with, some people think CEO is all about being Steve Jobs and Elon Musk.
No, I'm not any of that.
Do the product. Yeah, I want to know, what do you mean by being a super HR, first of all?
Especially in China. China is not USA, where in US, being individualistic, being individualistically different, being 崇拜. Okay? Because of the culture that I went to school there, I know what it is. It's always I, right?
Right.
中国也有这种，但是只是因为比较压。Okay? 中国不可以这样子。
So in China, you think you can't have that hero type of culture?
Maybe Ma Yun can do it, but if you look at the overall statistics, only a few rare people can do that.
Okay. Right? Why is that? Why do you think so?
Culturally.
Okay.
This is only my personal view. You all can object to it.
Let's hear that.
Let's hear on the management system, right? Since when did we Chinese invent management system? No, we don't. We believe in 中庸、孔子，听话就行了嘛，领导说了算，对吧？To be successful in the company, the 领导 has to be super good. 或者是他有权威嘛，对吧？Since when have we invented ERP? No, we don't. It's all Western, right?
Yeah.
Creativity, we are creative. But, in Japan, there is also an old saying, the nail that sticks out get hammered, right? In Japan, it's no different. In our society, predominantly, not all, we don't like to see people successful.
Okay.
That's true, come on.
Okay, fine. True. Let's say it out, right? 枪打出头鸟, and there's that. But you do see success of startup people popping here and there.
No, they do.
Yeah.
You 崇拜
Right.
向他学习
Right.
但是一旦他跌倒的时候，他活该的
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
right?
true.
So, over here, the cost of failure is much higher than USA. Cost of failure, not money, huh?
Cost of failure, that's definitely...
面子，社会对你怎么看？所以日本是更严重，所以日本的创业家很少的。Okay?
Right, so you think that's an Eastern Asian thing?
Yeah.
That's very harsh on failure.
Yes. And we, in our society, we have the 师傅徒弟的毛病嘛，留一把，不能学生比你强啊，对吧？这是一个很大的问题。我希望在00后之后的管理者以后不会这样子。That as long as the society doesn't change, it will be like this.
Okay, now we're speeding to, I guess, let's speed through the Wingcore, Nixordorf, and through that you actually joined two really big companies in China.
Yeah.
You joined Kang Shi Fu and you joined Yili.
Yili is only for a short time, yeah.
For a short time, but those two are, of course, the
huge.
Yeah, they're huge. They're the best example of successful food companies in China.
Yeah.
Were those experiences very different from your startup experience?
Oh, for sure. But because I work directly with the founders,
Okay.
I get to still see the startup mentality of the founders.
Maybe introduce to our audience a little bit what you did in those places.
When you are the 特助,
Okay.
which in this sense, Taiwanese companies are managed like Japanese. Like they have titles like 特助,
What does that mean?
幕僚长, right? Supervisor, 首长啊,什么师长啊,这些东西. Just, what does it mean? It's like a military in a way. So the 老大 is 董事长, CEO 只是名称而已. 那 CEO 和董事长之间还有一两个职位还比他高，叫 influencer. But the influencer is, I got the ear of the state chairman.
I see.
Right? But the chairman behaves sometimes like Trump. Many, right? Come on, that's human behavior.
Let's elaborate on that more. So behave like Trump means what? He's
Many people give advices,
Uh-huh.
and he will skip over you to talk to other people, to talk about you, about whether you're performing well or not.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're a big organization like that, a family-run business, you have to understand how to manage top and bottom.
Okay.
And
How many people that did Kang Shi Fu had when you were there?
Well, they
as
have
their
about,
Teju?
they have 100,000 people. Right?
Over 100,000
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
That's
So
very
you're
big
talking
number.
about managing 2 levels up, right? Boss and boss,
Okay.
board members, that kind of thing. Then below and below.
Okay. So so you have the CEO, you have the board.
For example, I am the CEO at SAR, and you're my VP, and Gabby is your director. She reports to you, you report to me. If I only take care of your feelings and not hers, I'm still going to lose you because she has your ear and you have her ear. Okay? So this is how family business runs.
Okay.
And you don't know whether it's cousin or sister or whatever, right? Top, same thing. You can have the ear of the chairman, but you can lose the support of the board.
Okay.
Okay?
No, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, but in Winco it's different because this is entirely no owner boss. Everybody is like small shares. Right? There's no 一个人说了算的. Like that's why you see big multinational American company, non-family, they change the CEO every 4 or 5 years. 4 companies like that. Right? You don't know who came and went. Right? The CEO could be somebody else and still running as an O&M, right? Or publicist. But in a family business like that, or 统一, or like my 香港那个核心集团做的地产那个, or even like 华为任正非的,
Right.
you have to be sensitive towards left, right, north, south, right? 同级别的.
So why do you say being sensitive that?
So you will have to become a super HR.
I see.
You end up not managing the business that much anymore, but you're managing them so that they can manage the downline
Right.
who are going to manage the business. That's the big difference. Okay? In a startup, you have to do the same thing, except that in a startup, you have an excuse to tell your partners and your staff that you're going to make mistakes. When you're small, you have an excuse. There are a lot of excuses, right? And you can pull that out of your pocket and say this is an excuse. And it's a valid excuse. But in a big company, what excuse can you have? Right?
This
你只是会做人而已嘛.
So while you were in that role, okay, so that's a crazy role, right? I mean, you're not even Chinese, and you're handling what I'm hearing is almost like a complex political structure.
My first day of really full time in Kang Shi Fu.
Yeah, let's hear about that. The first day.
The first day, I was supposed to be the GM of a division.
Which one? Which division was that?
Was a new division that does all this bakery stuff. So I reported to work. I went to see the chairman. He said, "I'm sorry, you have a new role." Just like that. So this will not happen in a 4A or multinational. Right? You can sue the company. But in this situation, I said, "What do I do?" He said, "Become 特助."
Okay.
Was I pissed? Yes, I was pissed. But you keep it in you emotionally. Say it's okay. I'll take it as learning experience, right? So I realized 特助is higher than whatever. It's like a second man. The moment you become 特助, right? When I was consultant to them, VPs and all these were my friends. When they went in there and become their boss. 换位思考, how do you think you feel? Today, I'm a very good friend with you in your company. And then your shareholders say, Mike, we got a new CEO coming in, and he's going to be your boss. And it's me. On face side, you say, oh, congratulations, welcome, but at home you like bitch about it, right? So
yeah,
I had
complicated. Yeah.
I had a situation like this, and first day already happened. The first week, I got people start to revolt, and it's not my fault.
What did they do?
They will not cooperate. They will drag. They will find issues. They think that my ideas were stupid and sucky.
Would they go around to tell the
yeah,
CEO?
yeah, of course. And they'll say things like, Chris' idea was, it's not new, we talked about it 4 years ago.
Okay.
But 董事长很会做人. He say, I know, you mentioned it 4 years ago, but you did not execute it. Right? So that's how he's very good at that, people. So at that time, no choice. I had no choice but to say, you need to give me 三番保证. 三番保证, you understand?
No.
三番保证.
What is that? Yeah.
Full authority.
Okay.
Don't jump on my head, but it never happened. You still jump on my head, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, I was already financially okay, right?
Right.
And I said, never mind, it's okay. What's come to worst, I'll get fired, right? That's the worst, right? But I don't want to get fired because don't talk like that. So I hate people who come to me and say that. Any friends of mine who come to me and say that, 了不起就是离职嘛. I will say that 你的面子在说话还是真心话? Okay? 99%是面子说话. Okay?
Right.
I didn't say that. I said, no, we're out. But I find time to build rapport again. So I build rapport and I build rapport. Take them out to simple lunch, coffee, let's see. I said to some people who do not know me, never met me before, I said, 某某人，对不起，我有得罪你哪一方面，请你跟我说 OK 的，因为我不认识你，也不认识我，为什么突然间那么反应那么大？ Then they start to complain about other people. I said, oh, okay. Now I'll go talk to other people. It took me a year to.
How did you even learn that? Isn't that a very Chinese thing?
You have to be very Chinese.
Where did you even learn that? Yeah.
A long time ago, like when I first joined Wincor, I started to go to all the 650 cities and talk to the Jingxiaoshang and everything. I learned already.
Okay.
And my logic of thinking in China is very Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
That I can say very proudly. I don't think like Lao Wai. I speak like Lao Wai. My accent, my 普通话不标准, but I speak with a 口音.
Right.
Okay? But I think very, very Chinese. And always about thinking about people first. How to make him look good.
But so here's the interesting story. Did you remember a story like you didn't do that and you got burned badly?
Yes. Of course, in Beijing, I was burned badly because when I joined the company in Beijing, I was already a DGM, just like that, without proving anything, just because the boss liked me.
The Wincor?
No, Beijing Jiejia.
Oh, I see, okay.
Because the boss know me for a long time. So when I went there, I became DGM.
And the relationship was from Wincor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was his consultant for a long time.
Right.
And I always helped him save money, right?
Yeah.
So when he got me in to do new branch, because he knew my past as a restaurant operator, he said, okay, you're going to have all this. But little did I realize there are 3 other DGMs.
Right.
They worked for him for 20 years. Okay? And they said, 他妈的，为什么这个人有那么多 authority, right? And I didn't know. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to push my way around. My job was to get things done. So I pushed my way really, really hard. To the point I was yelling, never use vulgar. I never use vulgar words. Yelling in the top of my voice to get this thing done. Nothing moved. And this old man came to me one day and speak to me heart to heart, say that to find a way around it. I got it quickly. I said, okay, I'm going to change my ways. I found another way, different people, different style. And I said, oh, okay, he needs space. Give it to him first. He needs to be 表扬. Give it to him. He needs to be recognized. Give it to him. Because it doesn't affect my salary.
Yeah.
Right? So it's free. Complimenting people is free. Saying nice things about people is free. If you don't mean it, don't say it.
I hear that, and that's something I think especially if you work in the US for a long time.
Yeah.
That's something always hard for people, which is, in the US, we're always straight up, right? And because of that, the communication friction is lower. We get things done quicker. And that honesty, that transparency it's more encouraging for maybe innovation, for, there's all these talks about why people need to be more open and honest and straight up. Did you feel by adapting into how things work here, you're losing these advantages of the openness and what the transparency and openness when you start, because you're complimenting people, right? Now you're not.
No, when I compliment, there are two kinds of compliment, right? One's the Donald Trump type of compliment with very hyperboles, right? You are fantastic, huge, you are great. And this is what you read the latest book by Michael Cohen, which I'm still reading by Michael Cohen, right? His attorney that was fired, went to jail. I think he wrote very, very precise about Donald Trump, but it's called flattering lies. Mike, you're so good, you're so great, so good looking. Actually, it's a lie, but it's just making you feel good. Don't do that. They don't know that whether you're kissing ass or not, right?
I see.
So when you compliment, you really mean it. They're done well. If it's not done well, don't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah, don't say anything. This after all is a very conservative society.
I see.
Right? You can see all these people wanting to drive nice cars and wearing Western clothes, eating, afternoon tea, but deep down we're still Chinese.
I see.
More Chinese than we are, right? Respect the culture, right? You may say that China has no religion, no 文化大革命之后很多破. No, it's not true. Still deep down we're Chinese, right? I mean, still in this day and age, when you want to date a woman or girl in China, most cities, I'll not say all, almost 80%, 要有房有车，丈母娘，
Right.
彩礼这些东西. You have to understand. When I first came to China, my first time I went to a friend's house for Chinese New Year. I brought, like in Singapore, when you go to Chinese people's house for Chinese New Year, you only bring 2 oranges. Only 2. Because we don't want to waste. I give you 2, you give it back to me 2. So I didn't know I brought 2. I went to her house. I gave it to the mom with a few friends, and I was ostracized after that, said that I was being cheap.
Because of 2 oranges.
Yeah. So after I knew, buy a hamper, buy lots of things.
A lot of oranges.
Yeah.
For all the friends.
So Chinese New Year is an expensive event for everybody.
So I'm guessing when you say you want to be more complimentary, you want to be more gentle, you still gotta
Firm.
be firm.
Yeah. I mean, just like the bad experience I had with the guy that was rude to us during the first fundraising,
Yes.
right? You have to not blow your temper.
Right.
And you have 2 young partners next to you, left and right. Don't do that in front of them.
Right. I see. So I guess it's more of a communication skill, right? How you do it rather than.
If you are in China, you have to have different skill. And China has got 31 provinces. You have to be different kind of way of doing things. India is much more complicated. In Italy is different. I was just helping this friend to do a land deal, right? We just came up from Sanya.
Yeah.
Italian and the Sanya 政府. One is 国企到国的国企,央企, right? Italian, right? So you have to find a bridge between the two. Just now when I had to still do the research, both sides. You have to.
Do you think it's a skill? Do you think you have to find people who's able to do it around you, or do you think it's a skill that startup founder has to acquire themselves?
I think some skills you cannot learn. You have to be born with it. Some skills, right? The basic skill, right? For example, I play the piano. I play every night. I've been playing since I was 5 years old. I play 3 different instruments. But my dad, my brothers, my mom all play instruments, right? 我不会看五线谱的，我是用耳朵听来弹。
I see.
But does it make me a lang lang? No, of course not. Just for my own pleasure. So, but you have to have some foundation to play, right?
I see.
Environment, language skills, and all that kind of thing, right? Same with communication skills. The job that you do, the thing that you do, you have to have certain skills to do that. KOL, influencer, you got to be able to talk. You must be able to be a good orator, right? So if you're not a good orator, go join the Toastmaster Club and learn how to do a good speech, right? But it doesn't mean that if you are not good at communication skills, you will not be successful. So you can be a very good scientist, like Einstein, stay in a room and become successful too. Don't 强迫不上场的地方 So I will not force myself to be a marketing person, although everybody claims to know marketing, right? It's like that. So you find Robin to 弥补你没有的地方。
Okay.
But you must also give your team members a chance to give opinion on the marketing, because everybody is a 消费者。只要你是个消费者，你是可以给 opinion 的。喜欢不喜欢也是 opinion 的，right? Logo 好看不好看 opinion 的。
That's right.
But in the end, you make the last decision. Go ahead or not go ahead.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the concept story. So first day, already run into problems.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
Full time, I was like only 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
Long term with them was like 7 years.
Okay.
I already know them back.
So I guess you built very good relationships,
yeah,
right?
Till today.
Did you enjoy working at the big company?
I love working for Yili. If I had no opportunity at time given by a very good friend, good VC friend of mine,
Yes.
Hans, very good friend. Hans is a fantastic VC, very, very nice, kind guy.
From
You-
GGV?
Chimin and GGB.
Yes.
I love him. I mean, he's good guy. If he had not given me the chance, I would have wanted to work for Yili for at least 4 years.
I see.
I would have wanted to work longer.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah, because, so for people who sound familiar, you started at Yili actually managing a very important division. You're managing the Learning division.
Yeah, and also EIR for Chimin.
I see.
Yeah.
But so where did that opportunity, so how did you run into this opportunity
Chimin.
that they invested you to start the
Because
Indonesia
one
share?
day, one of my GMs in Dingsing, Kang Shi Fu,
Yeah.
wanted to resign to go back to her family business, which today you can see her shops in Shanghai. They do 茶叶, Wang De Chuan. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's one 太普惠嘛, 一楼. So we built that brand. The designer that we used to build that store is the same designer that I use for my twin shops.
Okay.
The logo and everything. It's a great design. He used to work for O&M. Okay, and you work with Futures brand. You know Future brand? No, okay, it's part of O&M. So they have this. I work a lot of brand consultants to build my brand at the time. So she wanted to raise money. I said, okay, let me introduce a couple of friends. Then this guy. So going back to people I know before.
Right.
So during Kang Shi Fu, we have a lot of parties. I got to know this young lady who's very, very, very fantastic lady. Got to meet her one day. She's with Norman now, doing the parlor too. And she says, I have a friend that can be interested in investing in your friend's tea. We're doing consumer now.
Okay.
So I said, okay, let me meet up. So his name is Javen Huang Tao, 清华大学的，他在启明以前我做 VP investment。
Okay.
他投了那个 bank 方克 ，OK， 所以是 Chris, I want you to meet Hans. Maybe he can help you to see whether a friend can get invested or not. But the Hans met me, said, "Oh, you are a very different kind of Chinese."
We all agree on that.
Yeah, and I said, "Why don't you become a ERM? Let's 孵化一个连锁，因为他们在找连锁。That's how it started.
Oh, so Hans proposed it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
So-
but you said you don't want to do restaurant business anymore.
I know.
Let's think about
And,
that.
and he convinced me to come out to be an entrepreneur again.
Okay.
And it's very interesting how you start. I said, look, Hans, as a 特助 for Kang Shi Fu, I have no time for myself, including Sundays.
And now you're at Yili.
No, I was still in Chimi. I was still in Kang Shi Fu.
Okay.
So I said, I can only meet you at certain time every day. And I can go to Taipei with you to look for some brands to work with together. So we don't have to start from zero. But I cannot always meet you, alright? Because I'm the back and core of my channel. He said, okay. He was very patient. And we did it. Then I decided to resign to try to do full-time in this project. But the project took a bit longer than expected. But look, I needed to survive, right? I cannot just, as a foreigner, you need to have visa, work visa, everything. So, just so happened, a headhunter came, still friend of mine, his name Jerry, and Jerry is still headhunting things for me for RTD in the future. So Jerry has his own, he used to work for Conferry, so he came out on his own shop. So Chris, I got an opportunity for you to become the CEO of Shi Liu Shan You know 水流山？呀，那不是那个芒果那个冰淇淋，那个芒果甜品在香港那个，百年老店那个。I accepted immediately. Alright, this is not in my resume.
Right.
So I signed the letter of offer and became the CEO of 水流山 for China. And 水流山, Hui Lao Shan. And they got bought by a buyout fund called Navis Capital. So Navis Capital is a $7 billion fund based in Kuala Lumpur, but all run by Lao Wai, and they do buyouts. They own the KFC in Hong Kong, Wendy's in, they're all in the food business. They also own Pampers, RTD, they own a lot of stuff. So I accepted the job. I 退掉我的房子. I moved all my belongings, including my piano, all the way to Shenzhen. That's where the Kung Fu is.
Yes.
So I 打包了. So I went to Shenzhen on that year was 春节的初五我到了. I went to I booked myself in Shangri-La because they said they'll pay for it. I went. And the guy who was managing the brand at the time was a PE buyout guy partner. And he said, give me an honest opinion about what the stores you see, where we can improve. Write an email to me and CC to my boss, Bruno, in Hong Kong. I said, okay. They're very open-minded, I'll do it. And so I met up the VP, who was going to be my employee, my 下属. And he showed me everything, all the problems in the company. I said, okay. So I wrote a very honest opinion. And the same day, he called me and yelled at me. He said, why did you CC to my boss all these things? I have all this still my Gmail. I still recorded everything, so it's not all bullshit here. Okay. I got evidence to show.
Yeah.
I was very ostracized. I felt very, very sad and disappointed because my goods were my belongings halfway on the road to Shenzhen, and I already put a deposit for the apartment in Shenzhen.
Okay.
And I already got my team
you were set to go.
Set to go already, right? So I quit the next day. Okay, I sent a letter of resignation. I said, before you spend any cent on me, it's better I resign today. And they asked me why. I explained to them why. So they said they understand that this guy has a problem. I won't name the guy here, okay? So the MD of Navis Capital came to Shanghai to meet up with me to convince me to come back. Because I removed the things back. I told truck drivers to do a U-turn back to and I called my landlord and said, I'll return back.
Truck driver was not very happy.
No, I just paid him. I paid him. So he put everything back.
Yeah.
I said, I'll never go back, no matter how good the offer is. So they sent.
But what's the key here? This is just one guy.
The whole culture is wrong.
Okay.
Right? You will not be successful. It's true. In the end, you also successful. So when I came back, I said, now I'm without a job. Right? So I said, okay, never mind. I'll just help Hans. Let's see if we can do something there in between. Then a headhunter called me on the same day. Said, there's an opportunity for you. Would you like to come? I said, which one? As a GM for Yili.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity.
And I said, really? I said, when do you want to meet? Can you fly tomorrow? We'll fly you to Neimenggu for interview. I know it's snowing at that time. So I went there and met up with Pang Tang. I waited 2 hours for him to meet up with me, and then I was almost late for my flight back to Shanghai. And he met up with me. He said, okay, we accept you. You are the one. Then he rushed me to his private car to the airport, special tone down, get the plane back to Shanghai. And that's how I went to Yili.
Okay.
Yeah. This is my resume.
Okay, that's okay. That's also like I guess this is one crazy story after another.
Yeah.
Yili isn't that a 国有的一个体制的 right?
国有
So for them to take a chance on you, what do you think they saw in you? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the conversation went well because you liked them.
It went very well. I wanted to experience 国有的管理的风格。
Okay.
因为做一个外国人的话，这是很难得的机会。I think it is a fantastic company.
Why do you say that? Yeah. Apart from the fact they sell so many.
No, they have their ways of being successful. I don't agree to everything that they do in terms of culture. But who am I to say they are wrong?
So they had a unique culture.
They're successful. I cannot say they are wrong. It's just that I may not fit entirely into the culture. So I have to 入乡随俗嘛。
Okay.
So 入乡随俗很重要，所以我就开始要融入他们的文化。
So Yili was also very different from Kang Shi Fu.
Entirely because you knock out at 5 o'clock. You work overtime, you get talked about. So
what's
我有 I think you understand. 5点就下班了。
Yeah, so
就像银行一样。
Yes.
吃饭就吃饭时间就不理你了。And when you become a GM of a big company like this, you get a lot of phone calls from all kinds of people. What kind of people? 我的女儿想要找一份工作。Okay? But they have no qualification to work there. But I cannot say no. Because the people call you are 谁谁的领导的孩子。
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to 入乡随俗。But they love me because I can 喝白酒。I can talk their language, and I can be as humble as I want to be with them.
This is already 2010.
Yeah.
You were there, and the opportunity had started.
Was already picking up momentum.
Was already picking up momentum.
Then I was very 尴尬. Then I had to write an email to my boss and say that I will not join a competitor. I'm not going back to work for another company. But this is an opportunity I like to explore because I get to be on my own again. I may fail, but so be it. And he said, go ahead.
What drive you to that decision? Because Yili is great. I mean, maybe you don't like the culture. Like, well, what's the important thing? You were there only
At the time,
yeah.
I was trying to start a business in China, like those people, young people coming back. You don't just start like that.
Right.
You don't just, 明天我开公司就做了嘛。就 Marco 一样嘛，对吧？他开早就开了，不要等到我嘛。可能要找到对的团队、对的人，还有对的投资人，你才有这个整个 ecosystem 吧，才可以开始。你缺一个都不行了。对，在鼎新学到一个东西，就是我以前学到是说，你有市场，你看 ，Can I speak Chinese?
Of course.
你有市场，但是你没有能力没有用。你有能力没有市场也没有用，你两个都要有，但是还要加一个时机。
Luck.
Yeah, timing and luck. You got to have all this.
And so you thought the timing is right to capture this opportunity.
Correct.
This is 新品印象餐饮管理有限公司.
对
right? And the brand is called 吞云小吃.
Yeah.
Okay. So you joining as a co-founder?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Okay.
Yeah.
And was Hans, I guess, got the whole thing started.
I mean, Hans is incredible. I mean, to be a good VC, you cannot just look for deals. Sometimes you got to create deals, which I think Sequoia does that very well. Even Hill House and all these good VCs, they do create deals. I mean, like, they think that this is a good site out, right? So they look for the CEO to run this site out. You look for a jockey, you look for a horse. They look for the racetrack. So you got to have 3. You have the racetrack, easier, then you look for the horse, and then look for jockey.
So how did the team look like? Did you put part of the team together?
I put all the team together.
What does the team look like? How many co-founders were there?
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find these people?
I called them up. I said, will you quit next week? He said yes.
So
they were ex-GM of other companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
with my CFO, who is now my good friend, who is now running his own startup, is the guy who introduced me to Hans from Chile, Huang Tao from Tsinghua. And he was my youngest member. And he became my CFO. And after 5 years, he started his own company, which today is invested by DCM, Meituan, and one more. So he has his own company now.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, 100多个人.
Amazing. 新品印象, so you were the co-founder and CEO.
Yeah.
Of 新品印象.
Yeah.
And that went on for...
We didn't have CEO name because I changed it to 第一个员工.
Okay.
Yeah, my name card doesn't say CEO. My name card says employee number 1.
That's very interesting.
Binary number.
Why do you do that?
Because we're all employees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
How did this idea, I guess going back a little bit, right? When Hans thought this was a great idea and you also supported it.
Yeah.
Why this specific area?
Because VCs, as you know, they do a lot of research. They need to depend on the research data, statistics, 大宏观, 红利在哪里, right? I mean, before you do your KOL, you look at what is the side you have to influence. You're not going to do something that's against the waves.
Okay.
那就很浪费力气嘛。
What was the wave?
At that time was a chain store.
Okay.
Consumer chain store, retail, that was the wave. But little did we realize that when it came to 2011, the entire wave just subsided.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, it did. And then I started the brand at the worst of time, when inflation rate was very high. When we finished our menu, our food cost, everything was just nice, right? Was 26%, 27% of sales projected. Then I think there was
that's a growth.
Yeah, remember 2010, there was a stock market crash, everything. You know, then the inflation rate goes up. Then my food cost became 32%. So you lose 7%. And the menu were already printed. You cannot redo. So you have to think ways how to reduce the cost, right? So we have to start calling suppliers again, change ingredients, change this, just to bring the cost back down again.
I see. So the margin is 20 something.
26 became 32, 21, 32.
Okay.
Yeah. 25, 32, yeah.
Okay.
I remember this vividly because I want to commit suicide. So it's not like crazy. It's like, how? You know, this thing just happened like that, you know? Yeah.
How did the crash inflate? How did that impact you guys? It was because the
cost...
cost...
全中国的那个 food cost go up.
Oh, I see. Because the cost went up.
Yeah.
So what was the margin plan at the...
25%, 26%.
Right, but the cost went to 30 something.
31, 32, yeah.
But what was cost before?
25. So you project to do this.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the cost basically increased 25.
The same supplier came back to you, sorry, I will change the price.
I see.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, how many stores do you have?
None.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened now? How do you guys deal with it?
You negotiate supplier to give them more volume, like a more of like exclusive, right? So you always pay in the end. That's when you pay, right?
Is it the number so important? Is that because the food business is such a low margin business?
Yeah.
How,
the margin of food business,
more.
the margin of restaurant is not small. Usually it's between 70 to 75%. It's big. But the in between, another cost that keeps rising till today is labor cost, right? And the restaurant business, another big cost is the accommodation for staff.
Competition for staff. Okay.
因为很多是外地人嘛。
Right.
那你也知道，所以后来我学到一点，在中国呢，尤其在上海，你的地点呢会指定了你的 labor cost 是多少。
Okay.
Because if let's say you have the best location, everybody wants to have the best location, right?
Yeah.
Let's say 新天地. So the staff who works there, 他们晚上不要打烊，11点之后没有地铁了 you have to give them taxi fares and everything, right? And they live far away. Let's say 松江, then next they come back to work, they're tired. So 你在附近要找房子给他们嘛？那附近新建房子多贵。So you see, that's why every time I advise people to open a restaurant, tell me where you open first. So you're going to be a super HR. You're going to understand HR system, HR policies, labor costs every time. So I'm very sensitive towards that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you guys get this thing rolling?
So I started to rent apartments, and I put my employees there. So I live with Haidilao. No more than 4 people in one room. Give them Wi-Fi. Make sure that the parents know that they stay there. I made my HR stay in the apartment for 3 nights before they can give it to the staff. And they have to take videos, pictures for me that they do that, and they sleep in there. I sleep in there too.
And this is because the turnover for staff is really high.
Yeah, and in the restaurant business, you have to have 2 roles as a CEO or a 高管. In the daytime, you're 白领. In nighttime, you're 蓝领.
What does that mean?
Okay. So when I speak to you as my partner, I speak to you very professionally, like you understand P&L, my board members, my shareholders.
Yeah.
They're all highly paid people. But when you go to the store, you have to talk to them like 小朋友.
Right.
And you have to behave like them. You have to play with them. You have to wash dishes with them. You got to know your workstation together. So all my, including Carrie, she washed dishes. She became a waitress. But she was a head of finance. You have to do everything to get the respect of the staff.
Wow, that's tough. My God. Yeah, back to the restaurant business, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that
And
was...
seriously, I won't do it again.
No, okay. So, no more.
不会啊, yeah, I won't do it again. I don't mind being an advisor, but
20小时 went pretty well, right?
yeah, it's okay. It's not the most successful thing, but anyway.
Did this for 5 years.
Right. So when because I never slowed down, right? So from 19, 20 years old all the way to today, suddenly your 精神 is always there. Your 精神, yeah, you don't get tired easily. But of course, I'm human. Sometimes I get sick. Same thing. That's why, you have to, like shark, right? Shark doesn't sleep. When it sleeps, it moves. Because the moment it stops moving, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have to be able to.
That's tough.
No, it's not tough once you get used to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Guess building habits is super important. I think we're losing a little bit of stream. Yeah.
Huh?
No, that's a long story. I think we're losing a little bit of stream. Yeah.
Stream? Steam or stream?
Steam. Oh my God. I'm like losing my words.
No big deal. I got a 12 o'clock meeting later.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, another restaurant business. How do you decide when to finish, how to exit?
When you keep fundraising and spending lesser time on the overall management, it's also my fault. It's nobody's fault, right? I mean, you're the CEO, you're the head of the captain of the ship. I think the first time we raised too little. So when you raise too little at the get-go, you end up catching up, then catch up. You raise more. You every time you raise very 频繁. So you have no time to 还一还看. So sometimes when companies raise a lot of money, I think it's good. It's okay because you have enough money to buy time to 调整整个公司的系统. If you only raise just enough to just like hand to mouth, you have always eating. If your kid, you feed him or her enough just to eat, to 吃饱饱一点点而已, he or she never grow up well.
Yeah. So you guys didn't raise enough.
Yeah.
But you had VC partners. They must know it was not sufficient.
No. I mean, let's not put blames on VCs or investors.
Right.
They are humans, right? They know as much as you do. They know as little as you do. You cannot expect them to help you all the time, right? So that's why for NOD, right, not our company this time.
Yeah.
We don't mind raising a small amount in the beginning, but later on, with the right traction that I'm going to get in, we're going to raise a much bigger round.
What do you think is more important for the CEO to focus on the team or focus on fundraising?
Which stage?
That's a very good question. Yeah, that's actually an excellent point we should talk about. Let's say at the very beginning, what do you think is more important?
In the beginning,
Yeah.
team.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, if you raise a small amount of money, you can still raise. But once you get to a certain size, Series C or D or whatever, you should spend half. Because
Okay.
you have more people coming into a company. Don't forget, investors are like us, right? We also invest, right? Small amount of money in startups, and
Right.
you buy stocks
Here
or
and there.
insurance or whatever. You want to be updated. So I had a habit every Friday. I write a report to all my shareholders, from smallest to the biggest. Whether they read or not, I don't care. So I have a format. My format is very simple. Usually it's 1 page long.
Okay.
What happened for the week.
Okay.
And then when we have board meetings, no more surprises.
Let's elaborate on that more. What happens in a week? Is it more of an essay type of report, or
I don't essay. I would say, dear board shareholders, this is the week whatever. Last week I talked about this. No change, but we're going to adjust certain things. These are things I have done. Yeah, I do bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
These are things that I missed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
These things they think we didn't do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So very bullet point, but down to the point, explain everything that has happened over the week.
Yeah.
But why do you do it?
I do it.
People don't ask for it, right?
No, they don't. I do it for myself.
Okay.
So I keep an archive. So in case in the future I lose something, I forget, I can go back and say, okay, did I talk to you about this?
Yeah.
It's already.
You still do this now every week.
Even now.
Oh my God, I'd love to read that.
I did one for Sandbox 2 days ago, about one page about what I've done for them. Even as a consultant, this is what I do. And I said, we need to do this and the resources that I need.
Can you share one of that to us? For us to publish?
No.
No, that's too much details. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. So, would you be telling your CEO to do that too? Is that how you're guiding the younger kids?
No, I cannot tell him or her what to do because it's different kind of a habit. But if you keep things, certain people, different transparency. I mean, you're not going to share everything to your staff, right? Some materials are sensitive. But to your board members, shareholders, open book, right? Partners, open book. But different level, you may not want to do that because they may not understand. And like ESOP, not everybody wants ESOP. ESOP doesn't pay mortgage and car payment, right? Let's be honest, right? So ESOP usually people appreciate people who really got money and they want ESOP. So seriously, you want to ask me what question?
Oh yeah. So your view on this whole fast food, fast drink, fast everything world, right? You wanted to do this brand. Do you think you have the right skill set and the right connection?
I have the right connections. I don't have all the skill sets.
Okay, so let's talk about skill sets. What do you think you're lacking?
Well, the last time I did this was like 10 years ago, about slightly more than 10 years ago, right? So I got to understand that some certain things I'm already out of touch.
Like what?
Maybe the new digital media, right? Although I saw Douyin every day, 4-5. I'm a crazy Douyin guy. I somewhat save the videos because I want to learn things. Some very interesting. No, not the jokes one, like the history, like 创业, like some movie short snips. I will download it and I'll file it in my phone so I can watch it again. I just share with my friends. You can ask Marco there. I will share Douyin videos with them. I understand the concept behind Douyin, digital marketing, KOLs. I totally understand it. But do I know how to do it properly? No, of course not. That's why we have people to help you to do it, right? You got to understand. Do I understand how to fly a plane? No, but do I understand the concept of a plane? I do, right? So I find the right pilot. So, of course, I know how to drive a yacht now because I took the license. But that doesn't mean I can be a captain of a cruise ship. Right? So but you must understand the concept behind it.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to ask is how did you think about how to form the team, right? What kind of skill set? You must have a certain role and certain skill set in your head.
Of course,
and that's how you got the team together.
Of course. Well, first of all, when I worked with Marco to do this thing, I was looking for his energy, his enthusiasm. You cannot buy these things. You cannot buy these two elements. Right? Okay. You can buy experience, but you cannot buy these two. Third, he was very, very adamant that this can be successful. I had my doubts, of course. I said, okay. So I was very confident in my channels. I'm still very confident in my channels, my ability to push into the channels, and very confident in the network that I have with people who have done this before. That was the one that kicked off for me, right? And I did my own homework, right? I called up the ex-chairman of Yuhop Say, DPS Bank, my ex-shareholders, Unilever, to get their feedback on what I want to do. And not just support by verbal, they'll probably put money in, and they'll become one of them, become independent board member. Okay. Right? So that was the homework that I did. Then I look at what I lack. Okay? Lack means what? Not skill set only, right? Lack time. Right? You need to buy people's time. Salary is a form of buying people's time, isn't it? To get them to be interested in it. Yeah, that's right. But don't forget, what they are selling you is their time, but there's something else that they sell which is far more valuable than time. Their youth. Okay. Right? When you sell youth, you're going to buy it back. So in exchange, you give them shares, right? To make up for it. You work for salary, you work for shares. You don't work for anything else. You can work for 情怀, you can work for experience. But you want to translate your 情怀 experience to money someday. That's right. Right? Yeah. Let's be honest about it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why, right? I mean, you can't have 情怀, but it has to
You have to have certain proof that you're actually doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I guess that's
right. You're doing you're doing a podcast right now to influence the young people to walk the better path. Not say right path, path that's 走少一点弯路，对吧？
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. That's your purpose. But at the end of the day, you also hope that they can appreciate your effort to be recognized. Human beings wants to be recognized. Even Mother Teresa wants to be, even Jesus Christ will be recognized. Right?
Yes.
I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
That's human behavior. KOLs want to be recognized. Once you have recognized your 粉丝 translate to money.
Right.
What you do with money is a different matter. You can donate all to charity, but you still got to make money.
So the team that after Marco, what other roles did you think of that are needed in this funding team?
I think we have R&D already, right? Which is super important for the next 2 years. You need to get new products. And R&D, Jing Kai, together with Carrie. You need also Carrie, who has done finance, to also be involved, because that's what she likes. What you like and what you can do is two different things. But what you like and what you can do can be merged. What you can do, you already know. You don't need to relearn again. But what you like, you can learn quicker. So I have a matrix way of doing things. So Carrie and Jing Kai can mix. Jing Kai can do BD with me, even though he does R&D. Then Dylan does IT, but he can do digital marketing with Robin. Robin can do marketing, but I want him to do BD with me. Marco can do everything. So you got to have crossovers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you have everything ready?
Yeah, I have everything ready to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the next step? What's the most important step?
If let's say we get the money, right? Then we have to deliver on promise that we put in the PPT.
Okay.
The sales, the channels, right? To go up to the first full year of 200 million sales a year. We may miss 10%, worse 50%, but I think we're going to achieve it by 10% or something like that, right? Not hopefully, I think we can, because we have channels. Then we have to build the middle layer people, but more importantly will be the BD people who take care of customers, right? Take care of the resellers, and then you must have a strong commitment into investing into soft marketing, above the line, below the line, all things that you have to do with a limited budget. You become more creative when you have less budget.
Do you think your ability to get this done, right? And we'll see if history proves you right or wrong. But do you think this is the aggregation of everything you've learned and how everything's linking up?
Of course, I mean, everybody does, right? I mean, everybody falls and pick themselves up again. If you fall down, your kid falls down, he or she hurts themselves. You'll learn not to fall in the same place again. But you're going to fall again. We're going to make mistakes. But for sure, I can assure you one thing. The mistakes my team are going to make will be new mistakes that I've never made before.
Let's link. Can you link up everything for us? I guess now it's maybe I can link it up for you.
It's
but
only 11:30.
I want you to link it up.
Yeah.
Right. You're a young guy. You did the Mexican business. You did the food business, and then you did the burger business, and then you did IT. You came to China. You built relationships. Yili, Kang Shi Fu, Jie, everything. Like, did you see sort of a link in your head that actually gets you here?
Yeah, of course. People. 做人. I know it sounds very, very philosophical. It's not. It's not. If I had pissed off the first guy 30 years ago, I won't be where I am today, right? And you must know when to say sorry as well, or apologize when you're wrong. It took me one day, 3 years ago, I was in Singapore. I met up with my old partner, the rich man's son, in a restaurant. And he was with his wife and kids. And he was very friendly, he said hi. And this is something I'm proud to say. I walked up to him and the family, I said, I'm sorry.
Wow.
He said, for what? I said, no matter what, we'll never forget our first love, right? This was my first partner. And I said, I'm sorry for being young and being brash. And I want to say it to you so I can live with myself.
What did he say?
He said same thing. I'm sorry, and that really was the best day of my life because then you don't have to think about it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's like you meeting your first girlfriend and seeing that each of you had a good life now.
Boy, he has a better life.
Yeah. Well, he has a port.
Yeah.
We all need a port
Yeah.
to have a better life.
Yeah. She's tired.
Yeah, no, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Do you wanna? Okay, what would you say to a younger version of you?
A younger version of me, if I can go back,
If you can go back and tell him something, what would you say?
I would say work for somebody for a couple of years first before you start something on your own.
Okay.
Okay, and I didn't know better. That was the day when I graduated was economic recession over the world, so you didn't have much of a good choice to make at the time. Second, there is no such thing as a good decision. So I told my team just last week, and I wrote it in my WeChat. I said, definition of a good decision equals available resources times current situation times, okay, risk. Don't use 2021 to say they made a wrong decision, right? So if the best decision is the decision that you made that time with the available things that you know, and make the best of the worst that you have, that's the best decision, right? There's no such thing as a best decision. Only you define it. And don't look back and say, shit, I should have done that. What do you mean you should not have done that? Given back the same factors, you still make the same decision. Unless, so Sandbox asked me, said, do you think we can get a better location? Always. If you give me 5 years. But you don't have 5 years. You only have 2 months. So in 2 months, you got to make the best of the worst. So best decision is defined by you, and the worst decision is also defined by you, because you put a constraint on yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to talk. Let's end the night. Let's talk about.
I have energy. It's just you guys are looking so sleepy.
Yeah, I'm really. Let's talk about.
I woke up at 5 today.
You did?
Yeah.
What did you do at 5?
I woke up at 5 just to walk around, feed my cat, brush my teeth, watch the news, YouTube. Then I go out breakfast and I come back again. I don't sleep. I don't take naps.
Oh my god!
I never take afternoon naps.
And how many hours do you have to sleep?
Sometimes 6, sometimes 7, sometimes 5.
Then you find what you feel energized. I guess you are. You're super energized now. Like I got up at like 9:30. I'm dying right now.
Oh my
from
God.
the whiskey.
Okay.
What whiskey are we drinking? Glencadam. 17 years. Okay.
Yeah, it belongs to this brand.
Yeah. This is a pretty good whiskey. I highly recommend people come to check it out.